The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Very nice. Good morning. I'd like to call this Tampa City Council meeting to order. All right. If we could have, I yield to Councilmember Miranda for the invocation today.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's my pleasure this morning to introduce a young man who has been a member of the Mayor's Youth Corps program. His name is Haba Talapi, and he is an international baccalaureate program at Strawberry Crest High School and a member of the Mayor's Council, like I said earlier, and he's in the leadership program, and his hobbies are football and cricket, and he's innovative in cooking. So whoever, a couple of years from now, when he's of marriage age, you got to cook and everything with you. So will you please come up and say the invocation, and please rise for the invocation, stay standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning, City Council. As we gather in this moment, let us pause to reflect on the immense responsibility entrusted to us. We come together not as individuals, but as a collective, bound by a shared purpose to serve and uplift the community we are privileged to represent. May we be guided by the enduring light of wisdom, which allows us to see beyond the immediate, to envision the future that we can create together. May clarity of thought and courage of action shape our decisions, always with the understanding that each choice we make ripples through the lives of those we serve. May the work we do today be infused with integrity, collaboration, and unwavering dedication to the principles that bind us together, the pursuit of justice, the advancement of opportunity, and the creation of a legacy that reflects the best of what we can accomplish in service to others. In our deliberations, may our hearts remain open, our minds remain clear, and our actions remain true to the trust bestowed upon us. In unity, there is strength, and in strength there is the power to effect meaningful change. May we move forward with purpose, inspired not only by the responsibilities of the present, but by the promise of a future forged by the collective commitment of vision. Thank you.
All right.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That was wonderful. Thank you. All right. If we could have roll call, please.
Carlson. Here. Hurtak.
Here.
Clendenin.
Here.
Henderson.
Present.
Vieira.
Here.
Miranda. Here. And Maniscalco.
Here.
We have a physical quorum.
Thank you very much. Mr. Shelby, do you want to go over the rules and procedures?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, City Council. Good morning, members of the public. Martin Shelby, City Council Attorney. I'd like to quickly review the rules of decorum governing today's meeting. Members of the public are given the reasonable opportunity at the beginning of today's meeting, after the ceremonial and presentations, to address any item on the agenda before the City Council takes official action on an item. Now, if you wish to speak during general public comment, which is designated at the beginning of the meeting on the agenda, I ask that you fill out a speaker card and place it in the box that is outside of chambers, 1 card per speaker. Cards will be accepted until the start of general public comment, and each person submitting a card will be recognized by the chair by name to approach and speak. A 3-minute time limit applies. Please print legibly. Names that cannot be read will not be called. Now, if you're here to speak at something that's marked as a public hearing, use the sign-in sheet at the lectern, the podium outside instead. And if you need assistance, please see city staff. Speakers and members of the public are also reminded that the rules of procedure require that you please refrain from disruptive behavior, including making vulgar or threatening remarks, or making or causing disruptive noises or sounds, or displaying signs or graphics. And please be reminded to refrain from making personal attacks against any city official, staff member, or any member of the public. and the chair will rule out of order any person who speaks without being recognized, and persons failing to comply with the council's rules may also be ruled out of order by the chair, and at the discretion of the chair may be removed from the chambers for the remainder of the day's meeting. And finally, please know that City Council should refrain from engaging the speaker during public comment. The public should be aware that the City Council does not take your questions or have a dialogue during general public comment. This is your opportunity to express your position to the City Council. Thank you.
Thank you very much. May I have a motion to adopt the minutes from the regular and evening sessions held on November 21st, 2024? A motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor? Aye. All right, I'm going to go through the agenda. Before I begin, I'd like to bring up Miss Andrea Zellman, our city attorney. Did you want to say something?
Actually, I didn't want to say something, but I've been asked. I don't like to comment on pending litigation. I've told council that before. But I was asked to just confirm to council that you can move forward with your second readings on zoning matters. We are going to continue to conduct zoning hearings, contrary to the hyperbolic statements that some of my former land use brethren are making. The decision rendered by Judge Moe verbally 2 days ago, as well as the one she made earlier this year, is confined to the four corners of that case. It has no precedental value outside that case. And the cases, the original order she issued is now being considered by the Second District Court of Appeal. I'm happy to share with the council members copies of those briefs. The decision she rendered verbally the other day, we are in the process of getting that before the second DCA as well. Once it becomes final, it's not even a final order yet. But in any event, it does not affect your ability to continue to conduct zoning hearings in a quasi-judicial manner, and I just want to reaffirm that to council. And again, other than that, I don't want to comment on the litigation, but I was asked to, and I want to reaffirm to council that you can continue to move forward.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. I received a memo from Councilmember Clendenin asking that item number 2 be continued to December 19th. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion from Councilman Vieira, second Councilman Miranda. All in favor? Aye. Item number 24, we have a memo received from Councilmember Hurtak requesting that this item be continued to December 19th.
Yeah,
I believe under staff report.
Yes, and I motion to move this item to staff reports on December 19th to include an in-person report detailing the topics to be included in the potable water system master plan. And I did so because this is an issue that we got more email on than anything else, and I wanted to make sure that we are sure about what this does and that this is not toilet to tap 3.0.
Okay, and can I get a motion also to waive the rules because of the staff report?
Yeah, 5.0.
All right, we have a motion to waive the rules, second from?
Second.
Second from Councilmember Carlson, all in favor?
Aye.
And then a motion to continue, motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from?
Second.
Councilmember Hurtak, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so item 24 will be an in-person staff report. The rules have been waived to make room for that.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
Sorry to hit you all last minute, but just because of conversations I had this morning and last night, I'd like to just pull items 17 and 30 for separate discussion. I don't need staff, but I just want to make separate comment.
17 and 30.
30 is already being told.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, that was coming up next. So I marked 17. Item number 30, there's a memo received from Chief Bennett requesting that the item be pulled and heard at administration update. So we'll do that. So that takes care of both of those items. I'm going to go through staff reports, starting with 65. Let's see. All right. Item number 65, do we need someone in person for that?
Yes.
All right, yes on 65. How about 66?
Yeah, it's the same.
All right, item 67.
I believe. Yeah, there's. a
Oh, I'm
question
sorry.
in there.
So let's get a motion to remove 67. Motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilman Vieira. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, item number 68. Yes or no?
No.
No, all right. Item 69. that goes with it, so we'll say no on 69. 70, do we need in person? Do we have a memo from the chief?
The memo is sufficient for me.
All right, so no on 70. Item 71, do we need in person? There's a
Yes.
PowerPoint,
Yes.
so yes.
71 and 72 to go together.
All right, 71, 72 are in person. 73, I believe this is,
Oh, yeah, if I may on that, so I see the memo here, and so my question is, if Tampa Fire Rescue, whether it's Chief Tripper or their representative, is prepared to comment on this motion requested a status of Station 24. I don't necessarily see that in the memo that is responsive to this, so therefore, if Tampa Fire Rescue is prepared to comment on that today, we can go forward with it. If they need an extra week, then I will motion to have it bumped to next week if they need more time. But the chief request of this is to keep an eye on what's up with Station 24 in terms of the time. So when we come forward with that, I will address that, and we'll probably make contact with TFR in
all right,
between.
so we'll keep 73 pending. 74,
Yes, and that actually goes with file number 80 with a written staff report, so yes, I
okay.
would.
So yes on 74, how about 75?
Se-
There's a-
75, there was a misunderstanding about what I was asking for, and I talked to the CFO, and I would just like to, after my discussion with them, I'd just like to vote to receive and file that, please.
All right, we'll move to receive and file. Motion from Councilman Clendon, second from
Second.
Councilmember Miranda, all in favor? Aye. So 75 is done. 76,
Yes, it's a verbal report.
yes. 77,
Yes.
Yes.
all right. 78,
Yes.
yes. 79, they're all written, so we can receive and file.
And if I may, for the record, I withdrew 79.
Okay, so 79, motion to withdraw from Vieira, second from Councilman Clendon, all in favor? Aye. 80 and 81 are to be received and filed.
Yeah, 80 actually is going to be part of the conversation with 74.
Okay, so we'll receive and file 80, but we'll discuss it. All right, 80 is taken care of.
And if I may?
Yep,
Yes, sir. Items 82 and 83, which deal with post-hurricane Milton relief, particularly to houses that don't have flood insurance. A request has been made to continue
January
these
9th.
to January 9th of 2025. What I would like to do is to make those into reports, in-person reports, given the significant gravity and weight on families in Tampa on this issue. I will be inquiring with Ms. Feely on this when we discuss things with her today. So I'm okay with that so long as it's a in-person report on January 9th. And if I need to waive the rules for it,
Second.
then I made a motion for that.
we have a motion and a second. Mr. Shelby?
Yes, with regard to January 9th, you presently have 6 staff reports.
Waive rules.
Yeah,
So moved.
second.
Okay, just know that you'd have to do that again for any other rules that you, any other
Yes, sir.
All
reports.
right, we have a
Okay.
motion to waive the rules from Councilman Vieira, second from Councilmember Hurtak, all in favor?
Aye.
And the motion to continue from Councilmember Vieira, second from Councilmember Miranda, all in favor. So that takes care of 82 and 83. And 81, we move to receive and file.
81, yes, I just wanted to thank the finance office. They've done a great job with this, and I look forward to seeing, if you didn't get a chance to look at it, the timeline for reviewing the fees for these departments is really impressive, and hopefully we'll get it by FY '26.
Very good. We have a motion to receive and file from Councilmember Hurtak, second from? Second from Councilmember Clendon, all in favor? Aye. And we
Mr.
get a-
Chair,
Yes.
could I just make a just short statement about number 82? We all, for anybody who's having trouble with FEMA, we all have contacts at FEMA and our Congress people's office. If you're having problems with getting support from FEMA, email us or call us and we'll help you.
All right, thank you very much. Can I get a motion to approve? Yes, Mr. Shelby.
Just, we'll take those at the end as a group of the consent docket. Is that acceptable to the clerk? Thank you very much.
We have a motion to approve the agenda, the addendum. All in, who's the motion maker? Councilmember Clendon, second from? Councilmember Miranda, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, item number 1, police officer of the month.
Well, Mr. Chairman, before we begin, there's just one other item that I wanted to bring to council's attention, if I may be recognized, sir.
Yes, sir.
Item number 70 on the agenda is, no staff was requested, but a reminder that is appearing on the agenda in case council wanted to have any discussion on it, and that being the case that it doesn't, it still will not be pursuant to council's rules, appearing on the December 19th agenda for being moved. So it'll automatically be coming back, number 70, on the 19th for council's consideration. It won't be considered today. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, Councilman Vieira.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I have young Bavia here to help me out here with these very heavy duties here, so to speak. It is my great pleasure to be here today for our Police Officer of the Month. And like I always say, this is something that we do in Tampa City Council to reflect the values of the community that we serve, and we're proud to represent here in Tampa City Council. So for that, I will give the mic, so to speak, over to Chief Burkow. Go ahead,
Thank you. Morning, Council.
Good morning.
It is an honor to have our Officer of the Month come up, and in this case, it's a unique. You know, we always look at crimes that maybe are involving violent crimes, but just as important to us are crimes that affect the way our community looks. And in this case, you'll hear the story and understand why we selected Detective Andy Washington as our Officer of the Month. He's a 14-year veteran, and he's currently assigned to the District 3 Latent Investigative Squad as the Environmental Crimes Investigator. He's responsible for addressing quality of life concerns, and he uncovered a case of illegal dumping during an unrelated investigation. He immediately took action, ensuring that no opportunity was overlooked. He looked at everything with a fine-tooth comb, and he asked for assistance, and he was able to track down suspects involved in these offenses. During this time, Detective Washington adjusted his schedule to gather valuable intel to connect pieces of evidence that led to him being able to create up an operation. As a result of his efforts and leadership, 2 suspects were arrested and more than 150 illegally dumped tires in East Tampa were recovered. It was later determined that the 2 suspects were arrested were also connected to other similar dumping incidents, which have now ceased. Detective Washington consistently goes above and beyond in his work, contributing to countless other investigations that help reduce crime and improve the quality of life. Thanks to his dedication and thorough efforts in fighting against quality of life offenses, he's truly made our city safer and more beautiful for a place to live for everyone. And for those reasons, we made him our Officer of the Month for December 2024. Congratulations.
And so before we honor you, sir, we have members of the community who are here to give you gifts and tributes.
Good morning, Council. Brandon Barclay, Tampa PBA. We're here to present this plaque to Detective Washington for an outstanding job.
Thank you. Thank you, Ray.
Thanks, man.
Good morning, I'm Mary Lou Bailey.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm Mark Haney with the zoo.
How you doing?
Yeah, we're here on behalf of Zoo Tampa to congratulate you and thank you for your work. We've bought you a membership to the zoo for the next year for you and your family to enjoy it. Conservation and ecology and the environment is very important to the zoo, so we really like your story because it's right in our alley. So thank you for your service. Thank you to everyone who serves.
I wasn't even aware that we had a specialty that works for the environmental side in the police department, so it's something new I learned. This is for Councilman Hurtak. This is a African painted dog, and they're known for getting their prey more than any other predator in Africa. They get their prey about 80% of the time, and they hunt in packs and groups, and a lion, for instance, gets their prey maybe 20% of the time. So
What you call that dog?
it's an African painted dog.
African painted.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, dog.
And we have him at the zoo. You can come and see him. Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Appreciate it.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Grace Gonzalez. I'm here on behalf of the Gonsmart family and the 1905 family of restaurants. We want to thank you so much for your commitment to our city. And for you, this is a gift card to go to any of our restaurants here in the state of Florida. Please enjoy some paella, sangria, flamenco show. Enjoy yourself at Ukulele, relax on the river. Thank you so much for keeping our town clear of debris and protecting our environment.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you again.
Good morning. My name is Lori Osborne, and I am part of the Florida Orchestra. We wanted to thank you for your service and thank you for keeping our city more beautiful and safer. And on behalf of the Florida Orchestra, we'd like to invite you and your family to an upcoming performance. Again, thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning.
morning.
Good morning.
I'm Mary Dillon from the Straz Center for the Performing Arts, and on behalf of the Straz, please enjoy a show with a guest, and I thank you very much for your service to our city. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm
Good
Jill
morning.
Witecki with the Tampa Theater.
How you doing?
Good, and thank you for reminding these offenders that the rules do apply to them, just like they do to everybody else. At Tampa Theater, we'd love to offer you an annual membership to come see us, all the films and concerts that we have going on. We hope to see you there.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Morning,
Council. Mike MacArthur, Steps Towing Service. Congratulations on a job well done. On
Thank you,
behalf
sir.
of Todd Stepp and Steps Towing, we'd like to give you this $100 gift card. Go out and have dinner, take some time off. You deserve it. Thank you for all you do for our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Council. Pete Brevy on behalf of Busch Gardens. And first of all, like I say every month when I'm here, thank you for continuing support of law enforcement and first responders in the community. It's well appreciated by the men and women of the city of Tampa. Detective Washington, on behalf of Busch Gardens, I'd like to present you with 4 tickets to come to our park. If you want to bring more friends, just reach out to me and we'll take care of you.
All right,
Thanks for all
sir.
you do.
Thanks, sir.
Leo Gary with Bill Curry Ford, Jason Bender.
How you doing?
Congratulations
Thanks,
on
sir.
winning this Prestige Award. It means a lot to us at Bill Curry Ford. We appreciate and we respect each and every one of you guys that puts on a uniform every single day to make this city safe. I want to offer you a $100 gift card, and there's also a handwritten letter from Jennifer Curry herself. And then I want to give you a certificate for a full free maintenance on your personal vehicle.
Okay.
And then some goodies as well.
All right,
Some
thank you.
apparel, Ford apparel.
Thank you.
Congratulations again.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks for keeping us safe.
Yep.
Good morning, Council. Good morning, Chief. Good morning, Officer Washington. I didn't get to hear your story, but I read about it. And we have a little tradition at One Buccaneer Place. On behalf of the Glazer family and our entire organization, we thank you and your family for your extended services and what you do for our community. And we have a game ball, and you deserve a game ball. So thank you very much, Senator.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate the sacrifice.
Morning, sir.
Morning, sir. How are you?
I got a quick story for you. Several years ago, one of my clients that owned a large tract of land, and somebody approached him and said, I want to lease your property, and I want to store some stuff. So he said, oh, okay. So he signs an agreement, and the guy comes over, and he says, do you mind if I bring it over on the weekend? He says, no, I don't care. So Monday morning, he shows up at his property. There's 1,000 tires piled about 20 feet high. And he calls me and he says, code enforcement is here and they're citing me and this and that. He says, what am I supposed to do? And I said, well, where'd that guy go that brought all those tires? And he said, I can't find him. He's not answering my call. So in that case, TPD would have been a great and helpful assistant in tracking that guy down and get him to pick up those tires. So things do happen out there and we appreciate your support. On behalf of the Somi Greek Restaurant, we're providing you with a gift certificate. You can enjoy yourself at lunch over there. On behalf of the Yummy House China Bistro, and I always say this, the chief wants to go with you. And I think some of the other staff wants to tag along too. But anyway, Jackson's Bistro on Harbor Island, providing you with a gift certificate. On behalf of Bella Brava over in the Midtown section, go enjoy yourself over there, lunch or dinner. On behalf of the Chicho Restaurant Group, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. On behalf of the Meat Market in Old Hyde Park, go enjoy yourself for lunch or dinner. You have to take these gift certificates that I'm giving you. Some of them are just letters, others are gift certificates. You got to take both.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Congratulations.
So here it is, sir, if you don't mind here. So on behalf of a grateful Tampa City Council and City of Tampa, sir, we give you the City Council commendation for all that you've done. We really appreciate you and all your work. God bless you, man.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And if you want to say some words.
Good morning, Councilman. I want to thank everyone for coming here today, and I want to thank the Tampa Police Department for giving me the opportunity to join their family back in 2010 when I was hired. I also want to thank my wife, Lisa, for supporting me on my home front. Without a solid home front, you're not going to really be able to do your job, no matter what career you're in. Once again, I want to thank the staff, majors, captain. I appreciate you all. Appreciate you when the guys have the tools and stuff to do their jobs and the leeway to work in a less stressful condition. Work can get done. Once again, I want to appreciate this, and I thank everybody.
Councilmember Hurtak.
I just want to say thank you on behalf of all of us. Quality of life issues are really important, and I'm just going to tell you right now, expect your phone to blow up because tires are something we hear about a lot in the city. So again, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Congratulations. Thank you for the sacrifice you make when you put on that uniform and your family and their support. Congratulations. Much appreciated. Thank you, sir. All right. All right, next up, we're going to have Dr. Johnny Wong from the TPO, the Executive Director, to give a 5-minute presentation. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, City Council. Impossible act to follow. My name is Johnny Wong, and I'm the Executive Director of the Hillsborough Transportation Planning Organization, which is responsible for long-range transportation planning and also maintains approval authority over federal dollars used to plan, design, and construct transportation projects across all of Hillsborough County, including the city of Tampa. Over the past 2 years, there has been some renewed interest in merging the Hillsborough TPO with its counterparts across the Bay in Pinellas County as well as in Pasco. If moved forward, that proposal would result in a merged MPO responsible for serving the Tampa Bay area. Given that the city of Tampa is represented on the Hillsborough TPO, a merger would certainly have impacts on the city's role in long-range planning as well as delivery of those federal funds to your city. I'm here today to brief you on some of the activities that have occurred over the past year, 2 years, and give you an idea of what is likely to transpire over the next 2. I'm not sure that the keyboard's working, so I'll just go through and deliver a verbal presentation. There should be hard copies in front of each of you.
Yep.
Dating back to the... Okay, I'm sorry. Can you click over to the next slide, please? Dating back to the 1990s, there's been pressure on Pasco, Pinellas, and Hillsborough to merge our MPOs, but over the 3+ decades that this idea was first initiated, that interest has kind of waxed and waned. The most recent pressure that we've received has come from the state legislature. In 2023, a bill was introduced in the Senate and then passed, requiring that the 3 MPOs produce a feasibility report investigating whether or not it's even possible to merge, as well as identifying potential benefits and costs to that move. We submitted that report to the Governor, House, and Senate in late 2023, and since that time have begun initiating conversations with our respective boards and now with the City of Tampa to identify if that's desirable. Collectively, the 3 MPOs have expressed that it's important for us to lead this exploration, although it wasn't required in the bill, because rather than Tallahassee issuing a decree to us to merge without soliciting our input, we would like to be parties to that conversation. Earlier this year, it was announced that the Hillsborough TPO will be receiving $500,000 to manage this exploration, and we've developed a scope of work for a consultant to pick up where staff has left off. Next slide, please. In developing principles to guide a merger, the 3 MPOs have made some collective decisions. These are shown on the slide in front of you. We have not made as much progress as we intended At the last regional meeting in September, I feel that we kind of backtracked. We had been making some good progress and then kind of hit a wall. And so that's the point at which staff decided to put our pencils down and allow the consultant to lead in the next phase. It's also perhaps worth noting here that the city of Tampa has been engaged in these conversations via the 3 council members who sit on the Hillsborough TPO board. And then one of those 3 city council members is also the representative to that regional body. While we've developed principles to guide a merger, those principles today are non-binding. Ultimately, the decision to merge will need to be approved by the 3 BOCCs, Hillsborough, Pasco, and Pinellas, as well as the city of Tampa. All 4 entities must be in agreement for a merger to move forward. Next slide, please. So the scope of work that we've developed generally will include creating a staffing, management, and procedural framework for standing up a regional MPO, making sure that we're compliant and consistent with all federal and state statutes and laws that govern MPOs. My board just approved this scope of work yesterday, and tomorrow I'll be presenting it to the regional body for their approval. Assuming no delays in the timeline, we anticipate that the procurement package will go live early in 2025, with work to commence around late summer, early fall of next year. Next slide, please. The city of Tampa is undoubtedly a very important party to these conversations. I'm here to ask generally if you all have identified any concerns with this process that might prevent the city from engaging in these conversations and engaging in the exploration process. Then more specifically, how would you all like to be engaged? Would you prefer that the 3 city council reps to the Hillsborough TPO come back and give updates periodically, or would you prefer TPO staff and the consultant to come back? And then lastly, are there any questions that the city needs answers to before it can arrive at an informed decision about the value of either merging or not, and how to move forward on that? And that's it for me. You all have my contact info on the last slide.
Thank you very much, sir. Any questions from council? If not, go ahead, Councilmember Clendenin.
Thank you, Dr. Wong, for appearing before us today to give the council on the update on what's happening with the TPO. And I wanted to clarify, because I think you said decision, but then you subsequently said, about non-binding, principles. I just want to just clarify that no decisions there. We have not reached a decision point on basically anything yet. And the only thing that the TPO, the Hillsborough County TPO, and I'm not familiar enough because I don't sit on the subset of the committees that meet jointly. The only thing the Hillsborough County TPO has agreed upon is the continued study of the concept of of a plan,
Yes.
as directed by the legislature for us to do. So I just want, for people that are listening, because I know we've gotten a lot of emails, to know that we have not reached, and in fact, I would say that conservatively, we are probably 12 to 24 months away from having any kind of decision point actions by our TPOs. Is that a good assessment?
Yeah, yes, Councilman, that's a pretty fair estimate of the time that we think would be required to develop this first phase of work and present you with a decision to be made about whether to move forward and evaluate the specifics of standing up the MPO. 24 to 36 months sounds reasonable, probably erring toward the lower end of that, given the time required to coordinate regionally and present decisions and maybe several iterations of decision points. But you're absolutely correct. There have been no binding decisions made by any of the entities that are party to this conversation just yet. Everything is conceptual. Everything is non-binding.
And just one more thing, just to clarify to the other council persons that do not sit on the TPO and the people that are listening, that most of the rules and regulations surrounding these MPOs are federally driven, and that it's in the federal regulations that the city of Tampa is the largest metropolitan by population city within this area. That's the reason why the city of Tampa has to approve this process. And I know that for those of you that are listening that have concerns about it, the city of Tampa and the representatives that sit on the TPO have take that role very seriously to ensure that if for some reason in the future that there was an election to combine these, that the interest of the residents of the city of Tampa are heavily weighted, and we understand that the seriousness of this proposal. Thank you.
Councilmember Hurtag.
Thank you. And really the reason that, that Dr. Wong is here today is because the rest of the MPO or the TPO is really upset because Tampa has been disrespected by this TPO over and over and over again. So we wrote a nice letter saying, hey, we don't believe in widening through our city. And they were like, don't care, doing it anyway. But when it comes to county issues, we collectively defer to what the county thinks is right. But yet we aren't given the same respect. And so that's part of why we're here, is because they're worried that we're going to cancel this because basically we are both at the table and on the table every single time we walk into one of those meetings. And I had a great conversation with the mayor yesterday, who actually, she mentioned it before I did, that one of the things we're probably going to be looking at is more representation for the city of Tampa because of the importance of the city in commerce and in business. So I just want to say thank you so much for coming today. This doesn't change my personal opinion on this, and that once we made these decisions, I am the representative, the TMA representative, and not even having to do with me. There's a county that now doesn't want to have the airport and the port have a seat. So this is basically TBARTA 3.0, 4.0, where we still can't get along. And this is going to be the problem, and the discussion going forward is, can the counties actually come together? Historically, we have not been able to do so. I don't know it's a good use of $500,000 to try to go down the path. Obviously, I'm outvoted in that, but I just figured that saying that is important.
All right. Councilmember Henderson, Miranda Vieira.
Yeah, just curious about how often should we get updates on this? How often have you come before us?
This will be my first time briefing you on this topic. I believe my predecessor came to the council about 2 years ago.
Oh, okay. So we should hear from you more
I would love
on
to
a
attend
regular
more frequently.
basis. What do you think about that?
I can certainly make time.
Or at least even in writing, just to let us know what's going on.
Yes,
That's all I have to say.
Well, just to add to that, the TMA only meets quarterly.
Quarterly, okay,
So-
thank you. So quarterly, we should hear from you at least quarterly.
Councilmember
Okay, thanks.
Miranda, Councilmember Vieira.
Thank you. I'm just going to say, along with Councilmember Hurtak, there's an old saying in life: if you can't get along when you're engaged, don't get married.
Wow, Charlie.
Words of wisdom. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Councilmember.
Y'all are married.
Councilmember Vieira.
That was it. That was short but impactful. That's funny. And it's good to see you, Dr. Wong. Haven't seen you in a while. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, so, and I couldn't hear your presentation. I apologize for that. I'll check it out, so to speak, on the replay. No, but, you know, with this merger issue, I spoke to some folks about it before, and I always said I've been a skeptic of it. You know, Charlie or Councilman Miranda mentioned married. I'm not married to the idea of opposing it, but I'm certainly engaged to it, so to speak. And I'm certainly open to hearing what the other side has to say, et cetera. But I really feel that, you know, issues that are unique to Pasco are unique to Pasco. Issues that are unique to Pinellas are unique to Pinellas. And we have some very unique issues here in Hillsborough County, and especially with a lot of the changes that we've seen in Florida, with local communities losing a lot of their power, right? A lot of their duties and rights, et cetera. I feel that something like this could dilute the unique voice of Hillsborough County. That being said, I'm certainly open to discussions on it. I have an open mind on it, but that's my initial impression, which is that it's something that the benefit doesn't really outweigh the detriment as I see it right now, but I'm certainly, you know, open to talking on it, I guess, if you will. So again, that's my reckoning at this time.
Councilmember Carlson.
Since everybody else weigh in, I'll weigh in. Thank you for coming to speak to us. I
I've been supporting regionalism for more than 30 years. I heavily support regional cooperation. I believe that we should all work together. I don't agree that we should merge this. I think there are issues that are unique to Hillsborough and Tampa that need to be protected. If we're talking about the regional infrastructure, then I think there needs to be a different organization that would address that, and not TBARTA 4.0 or 5.0, but some other group that would talk about regional cooperation. You know, I spent a lot of time throughout the region, and there are big differences even in how we'll handle the regional system. And so we need to have those conversations to talk and negotiate, but being forced to make decisions about what happens on a local level in other communities doesn't make sense. So whenever this comes up, I won't support it, but I will support regional cooperation.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Wong. I've served on the MPO going on 10 years. My anniversary is coming up, and no one wants to replace me. But
You're irreplaceable.
yeah. But since my first vote on the TIP hearing in 2015, I was always against widening the interstate, always against TBX, TB Next, all the names, you know, because I wanted to put the neighborhood first, and the neighborhood has come out in full force for going on a decade against, you know, interstate widening. And I know this is not the topic of discussion, but, you know, I agree with a lot of what Councilmember Hurtak says, you know, in regards to disrespect. You know, we make countywide decisions, but when it comes to the city of Tampa, I've never had the votes, because I've made motions over the years to kill the interstate widening, kill these projects that are going to further be detrimental to the communities. I'm supportive of other county issues, but when it comes to Tampa, it seems that, you know, Seminole Heights, Tampa Heights, West Tampa is just not heard when it comes to these issues. And I mean, we've had public comment till the early hours of the morning, year after year. Serious concerns, people losing their houses, you know, interstates continuing to do damage to the neighborhood. So the word skeptical came up. You know, I'm open but skeptical, and I have a lot of questions and concerns because going on 10 years, you know, I've never been able to win that fight in preventing further interstate widening. I've never been able to convince other people to get enough votes to see our point of view and the detriment of the interstate and several other issues. So I'll leave it at that. I won't leave it at that. Councilmember Clendenin will close it out.
You know, because I keep talking, since we've segued into part of why the angst of the three members that sit up here have about that recent vote about the interstate widening, I wanted to clarify my position on that. My issue is, through some shenanigans, the TPO ended up putting in the TIP hearing this funding, which is going to cost somewhere starting tag of $500 million and up to $1 billion to add one lane of traffic each way between Hillsborough and Bears. One lane in that short period of distance. They're going to spend a proposed spending somewhere between $500 million and $1 billion on funding this boondoggle for construction. Give the metropolitan area $1 billion and watch what we can do with transit and how many people we can benefit for the greatest amount of good for the greatest amount of people. And that's the angst that we see here, is that this is 100% of the representatives from the city of Tampa stood in solidarity against this proposal, and we were outvoted by non-elected members and members of the county commission that do not represent the interest of the city of Tampa. And I think the frustration that Councilwoman Hurtak expresses, the same frustration that I have, time after time, when the county people come to us and say, we would like support because there's an issue on McIntosh, or there's issues down off of 301, or even the extension of the expressway, which a lot of people don't know. But we've actually been supportive because those were county issues, and we've deferred to their decision-making and their responsibility for representing the county. We have not been given the same level of respect, and I'll leave that at that.
All right, thank you very.
And if I may, 2 seconds.
Councilmember Vieira.
Thank you. No, and I don't know if we recognized her. I wasn't here from the beginning, but former County Commissioner Kimberly Overman is here, who's always worked on these issues. Just wanted to, I saw her when I was speaking, that's all.
Thank you very much. All right, thank you, Dr. Wong.
Council.
I'll see you next week at the TPO meeting, again. All right, I'm gonna start public comment, but I just need a moment. We have about an hour of public comment. I'm gonna call people by name in order that they signed up. Mr. Shelby.
Yes, thank you, Council. Martin Shelby, City Council Attorney. Just a reminder to the public, if something is labeled a staff report or on the consent agenda, the time to speak to that is now during general public comment. If you're here to speak on an issue that's labeled public hearing, to please just sign in on the sign-in sheet outside, and your comments, please to hold them till the public hearing is open and presented to you. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We'll begin public comment. Jason Marlowe, Michael Leeds, and Spencer M. That's the current order. Come on up, Mr. Marlowe. Please state your name. You will have 3 minutes.
Appreciate the opportunity to lead off. Jason Marlowe, good morning, Council. I'm here today to advocate for the City of Tampa to reject any attempts to undermine this community's capacity to chart its own transportation destiny. Already, County Commissioner Joshua Woolstill is actively disrespecting our city, working to diminish our quality of life and reduce our property values by expanding I-275 against the expressed unanimous wishes of this community and this council. For the citizens of Tampa to be betrayed by our own county commission is one thing. However, imagine how hopeless our already bleak transportation landscape would look if we had to share a transportation planning organization even more than we already do. Ultimately, it is illogical to think that Tampa's wants wouldn't be thoroughly watered down as we wrestle over slices of pie with Pasco and Pinellas. There is always a place and time for regionalism and good governance, and often the state of Florida could use more regional cooperation, not less, but not this time. Please reject this potential merger in the strongest possible terms and stand up for Tampa's transportation future.
Thank you very much. Michael Leeds, Spencer M., Yvette Lewis. Good morning, sir. Please state your name.
Good morning. Michael Leeds, 308 South Boulevard, Tampa, Florida, 33606. I had written a letter in recommendation of Abby Feely for her promotion, and I decided I wanted to come in and read it to you in person. Dear Chairman Maniscalco and honorable members of Tampa City Council, it is with tremendous pleasure that I write this letter of recommendation for Abby Feely. I met Abby over 20 years ago. She had just begun her planning career at the City of Tampa and was assigned to handle the 3-story urban Publix project I was developing in Hyde Park. I was so grateful that Abby took over for the initial planner that I was working with, because she understood how to balance implementing the city's development code on a unique project that required creativity, common sense, a concept my prior planner had trouble grasping. It is worthy to note that the project got approved and ultimately received many accolades and an award from the Hillsborough County Planning Commission. The experience working with Abby together on the Publix project led us to become great friends. However, I'm writing this letter for Abby not because of our friendship, but because I think she is an outstanding professional in her field who has captured the respect and admiration of the entire Tampa Bay development community. Developers, land use, and design professionals seek her opinion and guidance on projects because she always understands the issues, takes pride in balancing code requirements with practical limitations, and always provides constructive suggestions to help with others work through their problems. She is very approachable, super responsive, and a genuinely nice person. Both the community and her staff really value her guidance, support, and leadership. I have worked with Abby on numerous projects at the city over the years, as well as during her time at Stearns Weaver. While not always telling me what I wanted to hear, I knew her suggestions were always well thought through and honest. Abby's heart has always been with the city. This is why she returned after a short stint in the private sector. Since her return as deputy administrator, I have witnessed her development of management and leadership skills. These, coupled with her personal qualities and technical acumen, make her incredibly qualified and capable of being the next administrator of development and economic opportunity. I know deep down that given this opportunity, Abby Feely will shine for the city of Tampa. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Spencer M., Miss Yvette Lewis, and Mr. Nathan Hagan. Good morning, sir. Please say your name.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Spencer Maritides. I'm born and raised in Tampa. I understand there's a pending appointment for Abby Feely for admin of development and economic opportunity. We in the development community echo Michael's sentiments about why she's such a great fit for the role. Our group has been in Tampa for 4 generations collectively with the Radiant Group and Alliant Partners Development. I personally have spent my career in real estate development, worked with Abby starting 12 years ago when the Austin Center first traded hands. She helped us navigate a handful of really complex land use issues up until just a few weeks ago. And I think her experience on both the public and the private side is really beneficial here. She understands all the various departments and how to get the right answers fast, and just want to endorse her for the position. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. All right. Good morning, Ms. Yvette Lewis, Mr. Nathan Hagan, and Vanessa McCleary. President Yvette Lewis.
Good morning, everyone. Yvette Lewis, President of the NAACP Hillsborough County Branch. So first of all, I really want to thank y'all for what y'all have done for the NAACP and working with our Empowerment Center and those who have come out to see it and see the progress that we are making and what we're doing to better serve minority businesses. But I have to come to say that we still have not received all of our funds that was voted by City Council twice. So I really would like for y'all to explore why we have not received those funds. So thank y'all on that. Other thing, the CRB, the NAACP, I did talk with Chief Burklaw, and that the NAACP does have a seat at that. So I do understand what the governor is doing, and it puts y'all in a bad spot. So better y'all than me to make this decision that y'all have to do today. So, but we have to do what we have to do because it definitely needs to be accountability when it comes to law enforcement. We're still getting an influx of calls. I just talked with Chief Burklaw and the major about some issues that we have to air out today. So y'all make that decision based on what you need to do. I understand the governor as well. So I wasn't planning on speaking on this about this Abby Feely. I understand that y'all, she's up for an appointment or something like that. Make sure when she gets it, or if she gets it, that she reaches out or even she answers the call. Because every time I reach out to her, I don't get an answer from her. So she never calls back from the NAACP, and I never get a response. So that's real important in working with the community. It's in an agency such as this, that we are all trying to help resolve some of the issues and the concerns that's going on in the community. So returning calls back, answering the phone, it's a great help. So if she does or not, I don't know. I don't have a dog in this fight, but whoever gets it, please ensure that we have a lifeline to that person. And also, finally, the NAACP supports the park given to Tampa Park Plaza. And thank y'all so much. I appreciate you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Next speaker is Mr. Nathan Hagan, Ms. Vanessa McCleary, and Mr. Sean Wilson. Good morning, sir. Please state your name.
Good morning, Council. My name is Nathan Hagan. 80 years ago, Tampa was 2/3 of the county population, and today it's 1/4. When we made HEART a countywide organization, it was important that the city of Tampa was the beating heart of our region. Unfortunately, times have changed. Tampa plays second fiddle to unincorporated county on transportation issues, not because of need, but because of power. We've delegated, I might use the word abdicated, growth to other stakeholders, and now we are a relatively small voice in Tampa Bay. The reality is that Tampa is a declining regional power because our relative population has declined over the decades and is declining still relative to the broader region. I believe this is a choice. This is an important part of my housing mission to reverse this. Tampa should be where people move to in the Tampa Bay region. I like regionalism when there's consensus and unity and regional purpose. When working together lifts all boats, when it lifts our boats. We don't even get along with unincorporated county. Regionalism under disunity, where we are a minority voice and will be for decades, is dangerous to us. The pitch for regionalism is being made by neighbors who benefit from further diminishing Tampa's regional power. Tampa will be railroaded by regionalism because it's not done enough to retain its regional power on transportation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, next up, Mrs. Vanessa McCleary. I saw her earlier. All right. Mr. Sean Wilson, Ms. Connie Burton, and Mr. Kyle Bird.
Good
morning,
morning, Sean Wilson. I'm the president of Blue Sky Communities with offices at 180 Fountain Parkway in St. Petersburg. First of all, I want to say I applaud a lot of the things that the city of Tampa is doing in transportation, especially in bike lanes. I biked in right behind the guy who spoke just before me. We came on the dedicated bike line on Cass, and that's a great improvement. And I know that there's other ones going out on Cleveland, and so I definitely South Tampa at least, and most of Tampa is actually very bikeable, a little bit dangerous, but it's bikeable. And there are some areas that are walkable, and so I encourage you guys to continue to develop those low-hanging fruit ways of getting people from place to place. I am here to support primarily item number 65. That is funding for the Adderley Phase 2. Adderley Phase 2 is going to be 100 units of affordable elderly housing right next to Adderley Phase 1. I do want to say thank you to Councilperson Hertag, Councilperson Rivera for attending the ribbon cutting ceremony for Phase 1. That was a great event, and we're basically full over there. Blue Sky responded to an RFP that was issued by the city. So I believe that at some point the city council or city leadership approved staff to issue that RFP. They did issue that RFP. We were selected. We applied for funding. We're still applying for the major funding at the state. And so, and it was continued last time, I believe, because there were questions about the funding mechanism that the city was using. And I would urge you to approve it today because that demonstrates a continuity that the affordable housing development community needs. When we apply for an RFP and then we're awarded, we need to know that the elected body of that city or county is really behind it, because we're expending dollars and we're going at risk and we're trying to make this deal happen. And without this kind of funding, it absolutely will not happen. And so I'm here to answer questions. I also think Abby Fieldy does a great job, and her whole department, and also, of course, the folks in housing and community development we view them as our partners. We view you as our partners. We view you as our best customer, and so we hope we can serve you by delivering 100 units of brand new affordable housing for seniors at the location on Nebraska. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Connie Burton, Kyle Bird, and Casey Ellison. Good morning, ma'am. Please state your name.
Yes, good morning, Connie Burton. Abby Fieldy. First, you said you was going to do a national search, but you ended up where you wanted to be. Yeah. Because you had qualified people that was already serving in that department, yeah, but they left. So don't pull this wool over our eyes that you did a lot of vetting and interviewing national people, and you're here today because that's where the administration wanted it to be. The East Tampa funds that are being utilized all the time. The Officer of the Month, did you know that the East Tampa CRA pays his full salary? Over $100,000. You don't have that in any other CRA because the East Tampa CRA is still used as a social service for the things that the city neglects. So we pay his full salary, not the police department, we do. In terms of Salida House, I ain't got no problem with them as an organization. The problem I have is that the $200,000 that is being allocated for them to fix up their building. How do you be a housing counselor that's supposed to be advising people inside of our community how to get their house in order, and they can't get their house in order? $200,000, again, that could be utilized for something that the community continued to make a demand of. And lastly, this. We've asked you to look at improving the number of young people that we want to see hire for this next cycle of employment. We say go from 36 to 72. You can't get past the 36. The East Tampa has laid out funding so young people can have a future, so they can see the possibility. But you still get stuck because staff bring you a report saying that's all they could do. It is not going to be tolerated. It can't be tolerated. If one thing this last election taught me is that how this body is going to have to be busted up. We can't have our good liberal friends looking out for black folks anymore. At the end of the day, we're not getting what we need. When you have people coming up here talking about affordable housings and funding that you're giving them, and you look at the track and see how many poor people actually end up landing in some of these better development, it'd be around 10 or 15 people. But if we say utilize our money so we can go inside of East Tampa to uplift homeowners that have paid into that tax base, then it becomes mute. We are sick and tired of the BS coming from this Democratic board. And hopefully, if you don't have a change of action prior to the next election, that be your last cycle.
Thank you very much. Kyle Bird, come on up. And we have Casey Ellison and Steve Michelini. Good morning, sir. Please say your
Good morning. Kyle Bird from Cousins Properties and board member of NAIOP. On behalf of the NAIOP, the National Association of Industrial and Office Professionals, I'm honored to express our support for Abby Feely, nomination for Tampa's City Administrator for Development and Economic Opportunity. Our organization values our friendship and leadership with the city, and Abby, we've worked with her on a variety of issues over the years, pretty much all of our membership, and we really appreciate her efforts for sustainable growth, collaboration, and innovation. We believe she exemplifies all those qualities and more. She's, in our opinion, a great pick for that. And I've worked with her many times. It's not a rubber stamp. She can be very tough, and you don't get yes all the time, but when you get a no, you understand why. Abby has consistently demonstrated her ability to navigate extraordinarily complex issues and the needs of urban development, and I just think that's in Tampa's best interest. She's fair, she's firm, and I think she's definitely earned a great amount of respect that we've seen within our own community and with our own staff that we have to work with on she and her team. She certainly, as a leader, seems to prioritize the best interests of the city, and it seems to be, as a person who hires and fires, seems to have extraordinary qualities, balancing just all those elements that come into a very difficult job like that. One of her great contributions, I believe, for the city recently has been the formation of advisory committees with industry experts, and that includes architects, engineers, general contractors, property owners such as myself, land use attorneys. These committees have strengthened, reviewed. There's been collaboration with city and key stakeholders in the processes that y'all have. And those have been very helpful, I think, for all of us getting things like building permits and projects going and keeping them moving. We understand the role of city administrator for development and economic opportunity requires someone who can foster collaboration and drive meaningful growth. Abby has certainly demonstrated those qualities and abilities, I think, in abundance. She seems to have a great ability to unite stakeholders, whether it's your own staff or someone like me as a developer, property owner, or the broader community. And I think that just benefits the entire community. Tampa's in a great growth spurt right now. It's sort of a critical time, and someone with this kind of skill set, vision, understanding of the processes and procedures, nothing but a pure benefit for all parties involved. So just wanted to express on behalf of our organization.
Thank you very much, sir.
Support. Thank you.
Casey Ellison, Steve Michelini, M.L. Abdullah. Good morning, sir. Please state your name.
Casey Ellison, 2000 East 11th. Good morning, Council. I'm here today in support of Abby Feely for the Administrator of Development and Economic Opportunity with the City of Tampa. I have over 20 years of experience with Abby, which represents hundreds of projects, all of which I think I believe at the end of the day ended up creating, a better and more vibrant community. Most recently, I've been working with Abby on an initiative to help push along the building permit process and make it more efficient. And that has been going very well. I think Abby's more than qualified. I think in this critical point in time in our city, the momentum that we maintain momentum is key. And I think that this appointment will continue on with our momentum. And I'm excited for her for the opportunity, and I'm available for any questions. You give us a call, give me a call anytime you want, but I'm definitely here in support, and it's good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Steve Michelini, M.L. Abdullah, and Philip Freund. Good morning, sir. Please state your name.
Steve Michelini. I'm here to support Abby Feely in her prospective appointment to this new position. She's been serving in this capacity for quite some time, and she's served in other capacities supporting the city on all kinds of different issues. I sent a letter to you. I'm trying to pull it out here, but anyway, I sent a letter to you all advocating her support for the position. Her integrity, her work ethic, and her involvement in the community is fair-minded. We don't always agree with her conclusions that she comes to, but we always agree with her in the process. She's never taken out one party over another. She's listened to the facts, and she comes to her own conclusions. I don't know of anybody who works harder, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. She's an exemplary employee and dedicated to the success of this city, and she deserves to be considered and favorably considered for the appointment. I'd like to add that, as you know, I represent a number of organizations that are also very supportive of her. As I said, that she's fair-minded. She's got a huge task ahead of her. We wish her well, Godspeed, and hopefully the council will approve the appointment. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. M.L. Abdullah, Philip Freund, and Commissioner Overman. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This body of people, city council, this body of people that come to address the issues that's on their heart and mind and that's affecting them. This apple, it is rotten. Why do you say it's rotten? Look at how the people that you all are serving, or should I say supposed to be serving, how are they affected? Well, let's look at the people that's been oppressed for many, many years with the same ideology. It does not change. What I say to that body, you need to listen to those people that's being oppressed. Those people that's being oppressed, they need to realize they should not accept oppression. Oppression is not good for anyone. And when they stand up and enforce, demand that you guys represent them, then you all will keep on doing the same thing. Give us flowery words without any substance. So this is a wake-up call. We need to go back to teaching the reality of politics, how to serve your community, and how to be a good citizen. A lot of us are being neglected. So let's stop the neglected. And I think Ms. Burton said that if you don't do your job, we're going to get rid of you. That's not a threat. That's a reality check. When the people get tired of something, they make the changes. And I say to the people that's listening, anywhere they are, you that's tired, join with people and organizations that's going to reflect and do what you need done. That's the only way we're going to get it done. Thank you for your listening ear.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Philip Freund, Commissioner Overman, Ms. Robin Lockett. Good morning.
Hello, I'm Philip Freund, and I'm with the Tampa Alliance Against Racism and Political Repression, and I think
the dissolution of the CRB is a shame. I think the CRB represents a very important stepping stone towards police accountability in the city of Tampa, and it is one of the only outlets people have to be able to report police abuse of power, and that is very important because the police should be abiding by the law the same way as any other person should and should not be above the law. And I think the CRB is able to represent a stepping stone towards being able to match the police in being under the same law as the everyday citizens that they're supposed to represent. And I think it also, conceding to the attacks by the governor and dissolving the CRB as he wants us to, it puts a dangerous precedent that further lets him attack our local autonomy and try to put us under his state control. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're correct, sir.
All right. Commissioner Overman, Ms. Robin Lockett, and Pastor Williams.
Thank you. Thank you, City Council. It was a pleasure to be here. I'm Kimberly Overman, prior MPO and TMA members, as well as on the Affordable Housing Board for the county. As a founder of the Housing Leadership Council of Tampa Bay, we are focused on affordable housing and the impact it has on communities. As of April, the Schimberg report, reporting 23 numbers, showed that in Hillsborough County alone, 27% of our residents are house burdened at the below 60% rate. Focusing on affordable housing and actually funding affordable housing and working with our builder developers that are working so hard to do that, whether they're nonprofit builders or for-profit builders, it does not matter to the families whose kids have housing vouchers and are bouncing from hotels to hotels and house to house so that they can't learn. This year, we've seen our children miss 10 days of school because of hurricanes. This year, we've seen multiple families lose their houses due to disasters. This year, we have projects that are looking for funding, and if they don't get it in a timely fashion, the deals won't happen. Today's agenda, there are two items that if it doesn't get approved, it's very possible, with all the barriers the state has thrown and the county has thrown against affordable housing by changing the ability to use PDs for live local housing where density is necessary in a community in a commercial zone, by eliminating the ad valorem tax break. Those are deals those are laws, those are motions that are going into place all throughout the state that are eliminating the ability to build affordable housing. I want to thank the council and the CRA board, which is, I think, one and the same, for making a commitment towards funding affordable housing in a greater way than the county is at this point, given for the last 2 years they've swept the Hope Trust by 80%, now creating a constriction in the pipeline of dollars that are available that typically take 2 to 3 years to do. We haven't felt the impact because the funds have been available for the prior 2 periods. We actually funded those $10 million for several years. But those dollars are now being depleted, and the pipeline of dollars are being depleted. So it's critically important that we pay attention to the timeline for these affordable housing projects so that they can move forward, and thank you for your commitment to affordable housing and the residents who live here.
Thank you very much. Ms. Robin Lockett, Pastor Frank Williams, and Kiara Irvin. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Council. Robin Lockett. I'm here for the same thing around housing. The 2 items are regarding the projects, hoping that you pass them. I remember back during budget time, we stayed here a long time. There was a unanimous vote there was questions about bonding, but there was an agreement that you guys were going to put money in the budget, which you did. Now is the time to continue the process. So there is a housing crisis, no doubt about it. Even with the hurricane, that just compounded the housing crisis. So this is a no-brainer to me. It's in the budget, push it through and pass it. A year ago, a little over a year ago, or some months ago, you lost some valuable people. Nicole Travis, Elise Stromgo. I'll say their names. Kayon Henderson. We were told that there was going to be a national search. Point blank period. Transparency. It is a shame, and I was concerned about all of the work, because everything you guys asked council to, her team to do, Nicole's team to do, they did it. They presented it. And I was told, oh, they created a roadmap, right? They created a roadmap. We're going to be fine. Now, the people that are being put in place, do they have the will to follow that roadmap? Because that roadmap was all about housing. That roadmap was to help us. That roadmap was to even help you guys, because they put something in place that hadn't even been done before. And nothing against Abby Feely, but if she was qualified for the job before, she would have gotten it. The same mindset in regards to replacing someone with the same mindset, the creativity and so forth. I was looking forward to the national search, and it appears that that hasn't happened. It appears that that hasn't happened. I haven't heard anything about it. So, I don't know. I mean, we're going backwards because we have the same staff. We're going backwards. And I just hope you guys think through this part of it and pass the 65 and 66. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Pastor Williams, Kiera Irvin, and Mrs. Pointer. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. My name is Pastor Williams, Frank Williams, located 1112 East Scott Street. I have a lot of complaints, but you all don't seem to want to hear my complaint. But what I got to do, I just got to tell you like it is. You know, the mayor, she invests all the money there in West Tampa. Selma Heights, she do nothing but tear up street, to have her people tear up street. You don't know whether you're going the right way or they're going the wrong way. They can care less. But I got to let y'all know something. If I'm not going to be a representative of all the people, I ain't got nothing business running for office. You people are city council, ain't that what y'all supposed to be? Taking care of Tampa, Florida. But y'all don't want to do nothing for the people in East Tampa. And we just been waiting. Nobody seemed to care about doing nothing for us. And they got my house in foreclosure, and they still going through with it. But I called on y'all many times, each one of y'all. Nobody seemed to want to do nothing. Nobody give a damn, and that's what it's all about. But we got to get ourselves together. And I got to speak to people of color, too. We got to quit tossing ourselves against one another, try to put one another down. We got to try to lift people up. They're trying to do something to help each other. But you all don't want to hear that. You want to talk me down, tell me I can't do this, I can't do that, but I can do what the Lord wants me to do, and that's what I'm going to do until the day I go to the graveyard. You know what? Going to the graveyard might be a good thing for a lot of us, because it'd be better for us to go meet God than to meet that thing they call Lucifer and put us in hell. And you know, I'm looking forward to going to meet my Savior, Jesus Christ, who brought me out of trouble and helped me along the way, put bread on my table. He does everything for me. I'm not able to do it. But one thing about us, we got to learn to work with one another and try to enjoy other people on this world while we're here. One of our days gonna come, and you know what the preacher gonna say? Earth to earth, ashes to ashes, and dust to dust. And then when we meet Jesus, She's gonna say, well, Frank, what did you do? I can't tell him, well, I didn't did nothing but go to the city council, hoping they would do something for me. But they didn't do nothing for me. So now it look like I'm on my way to hell.
Thank you very much, sir.
God bless y'all.
Thank you, sir. Kiara Irvin, Mrs. Pointer, Montesnot. Kiara Irvin?
What did you say?
No, I was calling the next person. All right, I'll come back to Kiara. Mrs. Pointer, Montesnot, Colin Thompson.
I'm here. Good morning, Stephanie Pointer. I want to talk about this memo that I sent to Councilman Vieira. I'm sorry. Item number 73 this week is we're going to talk again about the TFR not having a maintenance yard. But we've got an 8-acre lot at on North Howard that TPD is holding on to just like a spoiled brat. It's 8 acres. Why are we still looking for 5 acres when they have 8 acres? And guess what? They stood up here and told you that the impound lot isn't going to get bigger. It's only going to get smaller. But yet, guess what? They're paying $10,000 a month for 1 acre right now. And that land, that 8 acres, is sitting out there empty. Number one, I want to know why, because that impound lot could be on this property. Oh, wait, and there's still 6 acres left, 7 acres left. You could put TFR and the other stuff there. But instead, we're spending $10,000 a month on this little 1 acre lot that has a building on it. But hey, what do I know? I'd like to also point out that I had to dig and dig and dig for this picture. And Councilwoman Hurtak actually submitted this picture. You guys have had lots of conversations about this lot and this property, and no one from staff has put a pretty picture up here like this. And none of the documents at August 19th meeting or August 22nd meeting were submitted to the record, because I went looking for the documents that were thrown up on the overhead. So while we're talking about wasting money on rent when we have perfectly good properties in the city of Tampa, let's talk about the $68,000 a year that we are spending on rent. $68,000 a year. I'm sorry, a month. It's a month, not a year. 1 month, $68,000. But Hannah Street is sitting out there damn near empty. Hannah Street that has bathrooms in it with showers. Hannah Street that has a kitchen in it, where if we were running our EOC out of there, it'd sure be a hell of a lot cheaper because we already paid for that. But instead, we're spending $68,000 a month for a property that is housing 41 employees. $68,000 a month for 41 people to be there. That's really jacked up. You know, I don't understand why we're spending all that money. I also want to point out that on November the 12th, you guys approved some stuff to be done at another 5+ acre property on, let me see, it's on North Laurel Street. Why can't we put our maintenance yard there? Oh, wait, what's on there? I don't know. It's a big vacant lot. It's empty. What are we doing with it? But yet, every time we turn around, oh, we can't find any place to put TFR's maintenance station.
Much.
TFR needs to quit being the redheaded stepchild of this city.
Thank you very much.
TPD can't have everything and TFR get nothing.
Thank you so much. Montesnot, Colin Thompson, Valerie Bullock, and then Wilbert Malphus. Good morning, sir. Please say your name.
Montesnot, Tampa, Florida. I'd like to start by saying uhuru. Uhuru means freedom in Swahili. We as African people should always be thinking about our freedom. I want to talk about us having 26% of this budget. We African people are 26% of this population. I want to talk about reparations, retroactive reparations, housing solutions, poverty solutions, law enforcement solutions, judicial reform, and also want to talk about service of process. But one of the things I like to say, because they're talking about a citizen review board, African people need a citizen retaliation board. is beyond the police department. To name Daniel Penny when you see a white man on a subway choke a black man out to death, choke him to death, and other people around. And the man is struggling for his life. Not even a George Floyd situation. And white people feel they have the ability, the authority, the right, the opportunity to intervene on behalf of, then they made the white man the victim. A tragic situation. That's the tricks they play in African people. They play housing tricks on African people right here in the city of Tampa and other cities. Since I was a little boy, I remember when the mayor used to come down and register, you can get a house for $1. 1,500 Africans lined up for one house. Yeah. And no one's saying what's happening with the property in East Tampa that was black owned, the property in Carver City, Lincoln Gardens, Progress Village, other places, right downtown. It's a reduction of black property ownership, and it's going down every year. The kids, the grandkids can't even hang on to the property. I remember when Hyde Park used to look integrated, not anymore. They call it Soho District or something now. But the fact of the matter is, these are the things that this city needs to really take into consideration. One thing, I brought the city council and the county commissioner a letter on service of process with some scams that the Department of Revenue, Child Support Enforcement is running on mostly African men, mostly people that's poor and working class. A lot of black men don't know they have a child support case until their passport, their driver's license, or something else gets suspended, their CDL license gets suspended. And as I always say, it's a do-nothing city council. They did absolutely, positively nothing about it. I didn't come down here looking for something for me. Sheriff's Department say they can't even find the service of process. They can't find the summons. City council did absolutely, positively nothing.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Colin Thompson, Valerie Bullock, Wilbert Malphus. Good morning, sir. Please state your name.
Good morning, Chair. Colin Thompson, and if it may please the council, my comments are more directed to reconsideration of legislative matters. And
I'll ask for that right after public
Great,
comment.
thank you.
That's next. Thank you very much, sir. Valerie Bullock, Wilbert Malphus, and that concludes public comment unless Kiara Irvin is here. All right.
Hi,
Good
I'm
morning,
Valerie
ma'am.
Bullock from Ponce de Leon College here, and I wanted to talk about the East Tampa CRA, how the money that there is not being used to improve the lives of the citizens in East Tampa, the forgotten people. I got a problem with $100,000 from East Tampa CRA going to the TPD Officer of the Month. I put in a request in East Tampa CRA about 4 years ago. We don't have any sidewalks from 31st Avenue to Nebraska, and that is a safety hazard. So I wrote the City of Tampa first. The City of Tampa said they'll put my request. They gave me a docket number. They said they'll put it on the request. It could take up to 10 years. East Tampa CRA said they was gonna look into it and they was gonna start providing the sidewalks. We didn't get it. And a lot of times what happened from my perspective with East Tampa CRA, it's a big slush fund. If we want to celebrate somebody, oh, let's go to East Tampa CRA and get the money to provide for that. And giving $200,000 to the Salito House, that's like me filing for bankruptcy and I'm opening up a trust fund company. It doesn't make any sense. Salito House is doing poor stewardship. If you're gonna tell me you can give me the education so that I can become a homeowner and I can maintain my home based on the education you've given me, why the education that you teach, why you can't use it for your building? Because they don't want to spend their money. And that affects people in East Tampa because the money that we're going to give them, that could help some of the people in East Tampa. The university CRA, they have apartment buildings. They are the model CRA for poor people. But East Tampa, we're just forgotten all the way around. And I want to talk, I feel like deja vu up here too. I remember when the police chief, Sandra Connor, was voted in. It was supposed to be in a national search, it was supposed to be in all of this, but the bottom line is whoever the mayor nominated, that's normally who get the job. And I'm against the process, and Abby also. I don't think she's the right one for the job. The people who came up giving her accolades, those were the business owners, the corporations. When Nicole was over that, I met her at East Tampa CRA. I met her in the community. We're hearing one side of the story. Go, Abby, go. Okay, let's see what the community got to say about it. Because if I'm in a position, I got to look out for everybody. That's what makes the community, not just try to bring in money.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Our last speaker is Wilbert Malphas. Is Wilbert here? I see no one, and Kiara Irvin is not here. That concludes public comment at this time. We go to request by the public for reconsideration of legislative matters. Mr. Shelby, if there is anybody, do they just have 3 minutes to speak?
Yes.
All right. All right. Is there any request by the public for reconsideration of legislative matters? Sir, I think that's what you had mentioned. Come on up and please state your name. You'll have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Council Colin Thompson, representing the Soho Business Alliance and many of its members from Burns Steakhouse all the way up past McDinton's. We're here requesting reconsideration of the board's approval at the last meeting of Resolution 2024-1071, which approved and allowed the signing of a Kimmons contract for the South Florida Howard street flooding. We're not opposed to the project or to the relief that the project is to provide for various neighborhoods, including supposedly Parkland Estates, and represented to be able to be extended to include Palmetto Pines. We want these issues solved. What we also want is what we understood very clearly from the commissioners or from the council members at the last two meetings, both on November 7th and November 21st, that there must be a comprehensive consideration of routes for this project. Routes that may include, but should not be limited to, South Howard Avenue. We heard that loud and clear, and I submitted a letter to council members last night that details and quotes from the transcripts of those hearings where many of you asked and demanded that staff go back and consider these alternate routes. I also included in that letter staff's statements that no routes have been determined, that we will, it is our commitment to you, that we will consider alternative routes. The issue with that and our concern, and my clients stand ready and we are welcoming the opportunity to work with city staff to determine routes for this project that will serve the community best and that will provide greater relief than we believe that is in the current plan. But the route that is in the contract, the Kimmons contract that has now been approved, is exclusively for the portion south of Swan down Howard Avenue. The contract specifies that the criteria for Kimmons is limited to the elements of the design criteria package, which limits the south of Swan route to South Howard Avenue. We want the opportunity to do what we believe is the intent of the council, which is consider alternative routes, and we don't believe that the current contract allows that. So we ask that you reconsider the contract, or alternatively, the contract has a termination for convenience clause. It may be terminated at any time, and you may direct the Kimmons and staff to go back and work a contract that does what you ask for, and that's for the consideration of alternative routes. We ask that you do that before it's too late and we go down this track where the city is spending money on non-alternative routes.
Thank you very much. Anybody else for requests for reconsideration of legislative matters. Yes, sir, please state your name.
Steve Michelini, I'm here on behalf of the Soho Business Alliance. I filed a letter with you all basically showing the inconsistencies between the staff recommendations, the contract that was designed and approved by you all, and the motions that were made by council. There are serious conflicts that are involved there. There also is a component regarding redoing the streetscape and creating a serpentine-style driveway along South Howard where you would take out various areas and put parking and et cetera down the street. The business owners are unanimously opposed to that happening. That should be deleted from this contract entirely. The other alternatives regarding other locations are included in this JMP engineering report that was made part of this, but they're specifically excluded when you go to the agreement. A pump station was recommended at the north end of Parkland Estates, which would provide immediate relief, completely ignored, jumped right over it. There's another list here of conclusions, recommendations regarding that pump station. Wasn't even discussed and is not in the agreement that you approved. Your motion last week unleashes a series of projects that will ultimately test the ability to survive for an entire, for an extreme limit. Due to the conflicts in the agreement, the council motions, we urge you to reconsider the action taken and require the motions be made by council to be included in the agreement and the agreement be revised accordingly. For example, the design criteria package says no additional route analysis is required. The agreement is limited to elements of the design package only. City staff is here telling you they haven't selected a route when in fact the agreement says they have. We have to to go forward the design task that selects the route completely in conflict with what's in the agreement. These are all direct contradictions to the agreement. City council should be required, should be asked, and we're asking you to take that information, reconsider it, get the thing right, and open up the board for other routes for consideration. We've worked very hard on this. We think that one of the things that is critical here is that there's this, I already said the landscape proposal. The solution kills the patient. So do you want to do that? I don't really think so. The best interest of the city involved, let's go back to the drawing boards and let's get the contract right, open it up for the alternates that you made motions on, and not direct it to go down South Howard, not direct it to go down through Bristol, which you specifically objected to, but was never made a motion to remove that from the agreement. It's in the agreement and it's limited to South Howard.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Shelby.
Yes, Martin Shelby, City Council Attorney. Just a reminder to City Council about Rule 4E. A motion to reconsider an action of council shall be made only by a member who voted previously on the prevailing side and shall be made only at the same meeting or at the first subsequent regular meeting. A second to the motion may be made by any member. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, thank you very much. We're going to go into committee reports, consent agenda. Items 4 through 11 is public safety. Councilmember Vieira. So moved. We have a motion from Councilmember Vieira. Do we have a second? Second from Councilmember Clendenin. All in favor? Aye. Councilmember Henderson.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I move items 12 through 16 for neighborhood and community affairs.
We have a motion from Councilmember Henderson, second from Councilmember Clendenin. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Item 17, there was a requested poll by for a separate vote. Councilmember Hurtak.
I will move items 18 through 23.
All right. We have a motion to do 23, correct?
18 through 23.
All right. We have a motion from Councilmember Hurtak, second from Councilmember Henderson. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. And then there's a separate. Councilmember Carlson, you wanted 17 polled for a separate discussion or separate vote?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a quick comment. This is about the Tampa Bay Regional Infrastructure Accelerator. Ironically, we were talking about a regional TPO and T-BARTA this morning. This in particular, out of I think 1.7 something million, is giving 200,000 to the Tampa Bay Partnership. When this came up the last time a few months ago, I'd gotten calls from the community about concerns that the Tampa Bay Partnership was not an inclusive organization because of the high fees and exclusivity, and that it did not properly represent the region. Also, and so I asked the question, I'm disappointed that it came back without any further discussion from staff to me. It seems like it would make more sense for this to go through University of South Florida, which we worked with before. University of South Florida has Qatar, which is a well-known international transportation organization. They've got Angela Chris area, which could do it. Those are regional and national, international. The other thing is the Tampa Bay Partnership in the past does not have a history of being able to build consensus. They ran or worked on at least 4 ballot initiatives for transportation, lost all of them badly, embarrassingly. They put together TBARTA 10 or 15 years ago, but the way they put it together, they didn't have the power in Tallahassee to give it a funding source or the teeth it needed, and so within the last couple of years, it got shut down. They also tried for years to negotiate with CSX about any kind of rail line. They failed with that. It is perceived as an organization that is mainly Tampa-centric, and also that it's connected to certain political people in Tampa, and not inclusive of the region. I spent a lot of time in chambers and other things throughout the region, and that's the perception. The thing is that in the last couple years, the Tampa Bay Partnership has gotten a new director, Bamitra Simmons, and I had an extensive conversation with her last night and again this morning. Despite my concerns about the Tampa Bay Partnership and all the feedback I've gotten to vote against this, Bamitra promises me that it's a new day at the Tampa Bay Partnership, and she's going to lead this in a more inclusive way and try to build consensus. And so with that, I'm going to vote for it, but I want to acknowledge the concerns I've gotten from the community. And I think they're legitimate concerns, but Bamitra has committed to me that she is going to work hard to correct all of those perceptions and the failures of the past to try to bring this to a conclusion. Also, out of the 1.7, right now we're only approving 200,000. So with that, I will vote yes, but I wanted the folks who called me to know my opinion on it.
Councilmember Hurtak Miranda.
Yes, and it's just really interesting that we're talking about regionalism today. There's always a theme, so maybe today's theme is regionalism. And from my understanding, the idea was to promote regionalism because Tampa, having exclusively won this grant, this is again where Tampa is trying to do the right thing, and then folks are like, well, but you're not going to be helpful. But yet at the same time, whenever we want something, region doesn't help us. So I think this is a real olive branch for us reaching out to the rest of the community and saying, hey, we'll let someone else run this. I have worked with Bamitra before and do believe that we can absolutely work with other businesses and regions, and I think it's incredibly important that it's not Tampa-centric, and I think that she will help with that. But I also believe that we cannot just hand it over to them without giving them some money to actually run it. So for me, I support this, and I appreciate you bringing up concerns, though, because it allows us to focus on those as we move forward.
Councilmember Miranda.
I just want to say that I'm going to support this, but however, I heard the word political. I have never called this organization for any contribution or any stuff to work in the campaign, go door-to-door knocking or anything of that nature.
And if I may,
Councilmember.
I do want to correct the record on something Councilman Carlson said regarding the transit initiatives. My recollection is, to the best of my knowledge, and folks can correct me if I'm wrong, we had in 2010 initiative which did, as you said, fail miserably. That did not do well. 2016, there was Go Hillsborough, which was a half a penny sales tax, which never even got to vote on because of the County Commission. 2018, we had All for Transportation, which passed with almost 60% and then was struck down in the Florida Supreme Court. So that actually passed. There were legal issues with that. Fast forward then to 2022, we have another All for Transportation, which got struck down at Circuit Court. In fact, the judge who we were talking about here before dealt with that as well. And it still went to voters in an election in which it was, I hate to be political, but it was a red wave, whatever you want to call it. That only failed by about half a point. So in other words, this has nothing to do with the Tampa Bay Partnership. I got no dog in that fight. But just as someone who endorsed 2 of those initiatives while being in public office and took a stand for them, I do want to say what I believe the history is of those, which is from a legal issue. Obviously, there were some challenges there according to our courts, and I respect the will of the courts, et cetera. But as it came to the voters, there was support, and by the way, I still do believe, call me naive, which I am, I still do believe there's support for that in Hillsborough County. That's all.
Can we get a vote to
Mr.
move?
Chair, could I just,
We're doing so well. Yes, sir.
yeah, I just want to respond. Every time I bring up those campaigns, Councilmember Vieira says it, and I need to say what my point of view is on it. My comments are not whether the public would support something or not. In the case of moving Hillsborough forward, I was on the policy committee of the chamber at the time, and Tampa Bay Partnership ran the whole thing. You know, there were great people who were working under them, but they ran the whole thing and they failed miserably. They also ran Greenlight Pinellas into the ground. It failed 39% of the vote. And just before it went to the vote, the former executive of the Tampa Bay Partnership did a poll to try to prove why they lost. And it was just really terribly done. All for Transportation, the first one passed the vote. It's not about whether the public supports it or not, but to win, there's a small group of people who are very powerful or influential who fight all of these. And they did not want to have conversations with them. At my own venue, I invited the opposition so that the public could hear what they said, and then I invited All for Transportation. They refused to come. They wouldn't even have a dialogue with them. And the Tampa Bay Partnership was very involved and raised money for it. The second All for Transportation lost, as you said, at the ballot. I think that there has to be, for transportation initiatives, ballot initiatives, it's a whole separate subject. It's not that the public doesn't support them necessarily. It's that it has to be handled in a different way. It has to be handled by consensus. And there has to be a grassroots approach to it. But now Bamitra is trying to change all of that, and I've had very honest conversations with her, and hopefully she'll be successful.
I move item 17.
That's what I was gonna do.
All right,
So, I move item 17.
We have a motion from Councilmember Hurtak, second from Councilmember Clendenin. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, 24, we had continued. We discussed that already. Next up, Councilmember Miranda, 25
Yes,
through
sir.
29.
I move 25, 26, 27, and 20.
Okay, just a moment. Councilman Vieira.
And I'm sorry, I have to ask a question on this. Mr. Shelby, 28, I know the answer to this, I just want to be transparent, et cetera. The law firm of Morgan & Morgan is involved in this settlement on 28. As a mediator, I mediate cases with the office of Morgan & Morgan. I see no conflict there whatsoever. I'm not employed by them, but I just want to make sure of that.
I'm sorry, Martin Shelby, City Council Attorney. So you have no direct financial interest in this item whatsoever?
No.
Okay, thank you. Well, it'd be my opinion that there is no financial conflict of interest, and you have the obligation to vote.
Just being safe.
Thank you.
We have a motion from Councilmember Miranda to move all the items
No,
except
no,
30.
no, not all of them. 25 through 28. On 29, I have a blood relative who is married to a spouse who works at that law firm, so I'm going to ask to recuse myself. And then 30 is pulled for discussion.
Okay.
I move 25 through, somebody can move 28.
So we have a motion for 25 to 28.
Right.
Second from Councilmember Henderson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we have a motion from Councilmember Vieira to move item number 29, second from Councilmember Henderson, with Councilmember Miranda to be abstaining. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. And could you read that into the record,
Yes,
Madam
please.
Clerk?
Motion carried unanimously with Miranda abstaining.
And again, that number of the number abstaining?
This is for item number 29, file number F24-10092.
Okay, and Mr. Miranda, I will provide you the Form
Yes, sir.
8B to
We talked
file at the
earlier.
end of the meeting. Thank you.
All right. Councilmember Carlson, 31 through 41.
I move, so moved, 31 through 41.
We have a motion from Councilmember Carlson, second from Councilmember Henderson. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
I move items 42 through 46.
Second.
Items 42 through 44 have been moved by Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. We have to schedule 45 and 46. Review hearings will be for January 23rd, 2025, 10 a.m. for 45, and February 6th, 2025 at 10 a.m. for 46 at 315 East Kennedy Boulevard, Tampa, Florida, 33602. All right, we have a motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Henderson to set those hearings. All in favor? Aye. All right, we have our 10 a.m. public hearings. The first few are non-quasi judicial. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yeah.
What happened?
Oh, yeah, the, reports.
See you in file.
You want me to move those now? Okay, all right, can I get a vote on, all right, motion for 68, 69, and 70. 68 and 69, we have a motion from Councilmember Vieira, second from Councilmember Henderson, all in favor? Aye, any opposed?
Mr. Chair, may I, it's gonna
Yeah.
softer, whatever, cut the agenda. For item 73, if I may, I communicated with Chief Tripp, and we have agreed to move that to December 19th. There was some misunderstanding on some issues there. So if I may, I'm going to move that to December 19th, and there's an item there that will be actually continued. But, so first, may I make the motion now? With that,
Go
just to, so she doesn't have to continue watching. The one regarding chapter 26.5, I'd like to, from December 19th, I'd like to move that to written report, if I may.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second from Councilmember Miranda, all in favor?
Aye.
And then the item 73, I believe it is, regarding Tampa Fire Rescue, I would like to move that to December 19th for an in-person report. And I want to make sure, as part of the motion, that we understand it. This includes, I want to amend this motion to include a summary of efforts done with regards to real estate for the fleet maintenance, and a timeline that is projected on this as well as on 24, on Station 24.
Second.
So that's my motion. And again, glad to move it. That's fine.
We have a motion and a second, Mr. Shelby?
Council, does that require then to waive the rules for December 19th?
No, because he just moved
He just
something
moved
off
the other
the
one out of
agenda.
the room.
Yeah.
He moved one to a written report. All right, we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
And then I will make the notification that item number 70 will be heard again on December 19th due to its cost.
Wait, we haven't said anything on number, hold on, you have me all confused. So item 70, I didn't ask for a vote, we did 68 and 69, so we have to vote on 70 today, and then we have a second.
Yeah,
Oh, we don't vote on it?
no. Because
Oh,
of
The
the cost,
appearing-
Oh, okay,
it
okay.
has to have a second hearing.
Okay, all
So
right.
that's all,
Second-
she wanted someone to say that, and so I
Okay, so
did.
you make the motion.
Yes, I made the
all right.
motion that we, just that we'll hear it again in 2 weeks.
Okay, so that'll take care of it for today. Motion from
That'll be
Councilmember Hurtak, second from Councilmember Clendenin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Thank
opposed?
you.
Thank you. All right, back to our regular programming. Can I get a motion to open the 10 a.m. public hearing? We have a motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor? Aye. The hearings are open. We're going to start first with the non-quasi judicial hearings. All right, item number 47.
What about 30? Ms. Feely is here.
No, that's under administration update later.
okay.
Yeah. All right, item number 47. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Kamaria Pettis-Malcolm from the Legal Department. We're here for item number 47, which is second reading regarding an ordinance repealing code section 18-8 for the City of Tampa Code regarding the Citizen Review Board. I'm here to answer any question, but a memo was provided prior to this hearing date. So I'm here to answer any questions if there are.
Any questions for Ms. Pettis-Mackle? No? Thank you very much. Is there any further presentation, anything else before I ask for public comment?
No.
Nope. All right. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on 47? Good morning, sir. Okay. Anybody? Yes, ma'am? Please state your name.
Robin Lockett. With the CRB, I think that, if I remember correctly, there was something that came down from Tallahassee. From my understanding, the city of Tampa didn't fit that criteria of what that mandate is. There has to be something in place to hold people accountable, for the community to come in and have a voice and have a place to have a voice. So I would say that with this, instead of dismantling it, creating something that we're not doing what they're saying we shouldn't do anyhow. And from my understanding, all of the cities, the Miami, that was a concern and so forth, still have theirs in place. So we shouldn't dismantle the CRB here. Call it something else, if that's the problem. But the community needs somewhere where they feel safe to come and have a discussion or have things looked at on their behalf. So I'm just saying, take a second look at it and not dismantle it. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Anybody else here for public comment on 47? I see no one. Is there a motion to close?
Well, not to close, if I may, I just want to get some clarity. The legal department is here. I want to see what they got to say about this. I'm not disputing what the young lady said, but I want clarity on it as far as all the facts and all the figures. If I can get the legal department maybe to step up and go up to speed on this and let us know what the facts really are.
Yes, sir.
Hey, good morning, Mike Schmidt on behalf of City Attorney's Office. As a legal advisor with the Police Department, I've been working with the CRB since it was in inception. I was there when it was formed. I was advisor for the CRB for years, and we are now transitioning into the Chiefs Advisory Panel. We've already met twice. It is, in fact, the same members from the CRB are serving on the Chiefs Advisory Panel. Excuse me. I had to get over here quickly. So, in fact, we met on Tuesday of this week for our second meeting. They reviewed policies of the department. The PERF, which is a Police Executive Research Forum, was there, and PERF presented to the board, to the panel. And so they're up in action. We are already working on doing exactly what was just asked, which is having a new board in place. So we believe we already have a new board. The public is welcome to check out what this board is doing. There is a website at the Tampa Police Department. You can go to the TBD website and look at the Chiefs Advisory Panel. It's got a picture of the board members as well as the minutes, upcoming meetings. They're in action and they're moving. Sorry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilmember Henderson, Councilmember Carlson.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I just wanted to clarify that the chief did take a proactive approach because of this information coming down from Tallahassee to create the advisory board. I think there are a few other additional members. I remember Albert was a new appointee, and they are up and running, Robbins, just so you know, and he was very proactive in that when this came down from Tallahassee to put that advisory board in place to basically, continue to be that advisor for the Tampa Police Department and represent our community. And I do believe those meetings are open to the public as well.
They're open to the public, and the chief has been at all the meetings, and as well as some executive staff, and the board has been very receptive. And as you know, the chair of the board, Albert Cook, was here last meeting and spoke to you at the last meeting for public comment about his support.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Carlson.
Yeah, just to remind the public, I've been working on this issue since 2015. It didn't come out of perceived abuses by police officers. It came because of the stories and discovery of the policy set by prior administration called Biking While Black. And there were a lot of things the community was asking for. The CRB was kind of the lowest thing on the list, and the only thing that the community could get approved at that time. Since then, as we've had testimony before, the law has changed. Since I've been on council, we've modified the CRB many times and made it better, but now the law has changed to force us to shut it down. There was a discussion. James Shaw and some of the groups came before us and talked to us about Miami. Since the last discussion, Miami's been shut down also. So there is a narrow path that we could keep this open. For example, I think if the mayor made an executive order instead of using the ordinance, maybe we could keep it open. But Representative Danny Alvarez came before us and said, if you guys create a way to keep this alive, we're going to change the law again to shut it down. The law had this committee, the new law that takes away the CRB enables chiefs of police to set up committees. As my colleague said, several of the members of the CRB have moved over to that. I've seen pictures of them going to those meetings. I think some of them believe that the CRB would be better, but we can't continue by law, we can't continue the CRB in its current form. What I've suggested to the civil rights groups is let's create a different structure, different rules that I know I am open, and maybe my colleagues are open to other things that help protect civil rights. We don't want anything that's going to be punitive of good police officers, but we should probably have some mechanism to prevent policies that openly and widely discriminate. So I'm talking to the civil rights groups to see if they have any other ideas, and we can talk to them about coming back with that. Today, like I did a couple weeks ago, I'm going to vote no, just symbolically. Even if we keep it, it's not going to be able to operate as it has before. And so what I would encourage everybody to do is look at other ideas, maybe go back to this discussions in 2015 and figure out what we would do differently and what ideas are out there, and then we can propose those. Thank you.
Councilmember Hurtak.
I understand that another board has been created, but it was a board created by the police, and quite frankly, if you have a problem with the police, going to the police isn't going to make you feel safe. You're not going to be likely to do so, and that's probably what this law was trying to do, was just to stop people from coming when they have issues. So I again, I'm not going to support this because I do believe that the law in its current state can be worked with. And I mean, I'm sorry that those who are also on this dais don't have the strength to do that, but I believe that we can work within the system that we have now. The person who wrote the law specifically said that it doesn't have to shut down. We're not doing anything. Quite frankly, if we wanted to get a group together and FOIA old cases and like hang out in a bar and talk about them, we could do that. And that's basically what this committee was doing. So that is the reason I'm going to vote no, because I believe that the public should have a safe place to come to talk about issues they have with the police department.
Thank you. Anybody? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, so, you know, this is an interesting issue. I kind of compare it in a way to what we're going to be dealing with soon with the apprenticeship ordinance, where Tallahassee essentially preempted us and said that, listen, if you are going to prospectively penalize contractors for not meeting a threshold on state certified apprenticeships, you can't do that anymore. And so it kind of takes it out of our hands. You know, I've been very, very clear in this, which is if I was in Tallahassee, I would have opposed this. I would have voted no. I think our CRB, as functioning here in the city of Tampa, was something that benefited the community. It goes to really what my vision with regards to law enforcement always has been, which is I've always been very pro law enforcement through thick and thin, through times when it's popular, through times when it's not popular with some people, et cetera, but I always believe also in accountability. Government accountability is as American as James Madison, and that certainly is true with regards to law enforcement, and I think that this CRB, as done, certainly achieved that. There were some things that I voted against, such as subpoena power. There were some things that I voted for, such as having a separate attorney from the board outside of the city of Tampa. So I think there were good ways that we could improve that in everything. You know, the way that I interpret the law, and after dealing with our attorneys, et cetera, is that other than one very, very, very tiny function that we could potentially do, we are preempted in it all. And so I appreciate the, I don't want to put people in words in people's mouth. Councilman Carlson, I think, is more symbolic. Councilwoman Hurtak is more substantive. I appreciate those votes, but as I interpret it, I think our hands are tied similarly to the apprenticeship ordinance. But again, if I was in Tallahassee, this is something I would have clearly opposed, because what Tampa has done, I think, balances that and also gets to the heart of community policing, which is the idea that our police officers, while being respected, et cetera, on the job, should be part of the community. That's something that's very, very important, and that's what community policing, I think, in this, as Tampa did it, was part of it. So that's kind of the catch-22 that I think many of us are in, but that's all. Thank you.
Can I get a motion to close?
So moved.
Motion from Councilmember Vieira, second from Councilmember Clendenin. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Councilmember Miranda, would you like to read this?
That's item number 47.
Yes, sir.
Chairman, item number 47, file number 2024/8, chapter 18. Ordinance being for second reading and adoption. An ordinance of the City of Tampa, Florida, repealing City of Tampa Code Ordinance Section 18-8, Citizen Review Board for the Tampa Police Department, providing for severability, providing for repeal of all ordinance in conflict, providing an effective date.
Do we have a second? Second from Councilmember Vieira. Please record your vote.
Motion carried with Carlson and Hurtak voting no.
Thank you very much. Item 48.
Ross Ammons, Development Coordination, presenting file number VAC 24-09 for second reading and adoption. I'm available if you have any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Sammons? I see none. Anything further from other city staff? That's it? All right, is there a petitioner here, or if not, we'll go to public comment? Do we have a petitioner online? Okay, Alex Shaler is online. Ma'am, do you have anything to add?
Trying to get my webcam on. I don't have anything to add. If you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Do you have any questions? All right, is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on 48?
Motion to close.
We have a motion to close from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Councilmember Vieira.
Yes, sir. I move an ordinance of the city of Tampa, Florida, vacating, closing, discontinuing, and abandoning that alleyway right-of-way located north of Amelia Avenue, south of Columbus Drive, east of Florida Avenue, and west of Morgan Street, within that plat of Nev Block, subdivision of the city of Tampa, Hillsborough County, Florida, is more fully described in section 2 hereof, subject to certain covenants, conditions, and restrictions as more particularly set forth herein, providing for enforcement and penalties for violations, providing for definitions, interpretations, and repealing conflicts, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Vieira, second from Councilmember Miranda. Please record your vote. Sure.
Motion carried unanimously with Hurtak being absent at vote.
All right. The next items, 49 through 60, are quasi judicial. If you're going to speak on any of the following hearings, please stand, raise your right hand, and we'll swear you in.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to provide is the truth and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Okay, item.
I do.
All right, good. Item number 49.
Good morning, Council. Sam Thomas, Development Coordination. Item number 49 is REZ 2414. This item is a rezoning request for the property located at 2539 West Cherry Street. The request is to rezone from residential multifamily 16 to planned development for residential single-family semi-detached. Revisions have been made and certified plans have been submitted to the clerk's office. I'm available if there are any questions.
Any questions? All right. Petitioner for item 49. Do we have anybody? All right. May I have a motion to, I'm sorry, is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on 49?
Motion to close.
We have a motion to close from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilman Vieira. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Councilmember Henderson, would you like to read 49?
Yes, Chair, thank you. I move file number REZ 2414, an ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption. An ordinance rezoning property in the general vicinity of 2539 West Cherry Street in the city of Tampa, Florida, and more particularly described in section 1 from zoning district classification RM16 residential multifamily to PD planned development residential single-family semi-detached, providing an effective date.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Henderson, second from Councilmember Miranda. Please record your vote.
Motion carried unanimously.
And I move the resolution.
Second. We have a motion to move the resolution from Councilmember Henderson, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, item number 50.
Sam Thomas, Development Coordination. Agenda item number 50 is REZ 2442. This item is a rezoning request for the property located at 2004 and 2014 Davis Street and Folio number 199257.0100. The request is to rezone from commercial intensive to planned development for residential single-family attached. Revisions have been completed and certified plans have been submitted to the clerk's office. I'm available if there are any questions.
Any questions for the gentleman? I see none. Ms. Shaler, you're the representative. Do you have anything to add?
I do not. Happy to answer any questions if you have them.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on item 50? Motion to close from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Vieira. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Councilmember Clendenin.
Yeah, I move file number REZ 2442, an ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption, an ordinance rezoning property in the general vicinity of 2004 and 2014 Davis Street and Folio number 199257-0100 in the city of Tampa, Florida, more particularly described in section 1 from zoning district classifications CI, commercial intensive, to PD planned development, residential, single family attached, providing an effective date.
We have a motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilman Vieira. Please record your vote.
Motion carried unanimously.
Very good. We are moving to number 51.
St. Thomas Development Coordination. Item number 51 is REZ 2456. This item is a rezoning request for the property located at 708 North Willow Avenue. The request is to rezone from residential single-family 50 to planned development for residential single-family semi-detached. Revisions have been completed and certified plans have been submitted to the clerk's office. I'm available if there's any questions.
Any questions? Hearing none, is there an applicant? Going once, going twice? Okay, anybody from the public wish to speak on item 51?
Move to close.
Okay, motion to close from Councilman Miranda, second from?
Second.
Second from Councilwoman Henderson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Councilwoman Hurtak.
Yes, file number REZ 24-56, ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption, an ordinance rezoning property in the general vicinity of 708 North Willow Avenue in the city of Tampa, Florida, and more particularly described in section 1 from zoning district classification RS50, residential single family, to PD, planned development, residential single family semi-detached, providing an effective
Second.
date.
We have a motion from Councilmember Hurtak, second from Councilmember Miranda. Please record your vote.
Motion carried unanimously.
All right, item number 52.
St. Thomas Development Coordination. Item number 52 is REZ 2474. This item is a rezoning request for the property located at 9313 North 11th Street. The request is to rezone from residential single-family 50 to planned development for residential multifamily. Revisions have been completed and certified plans have been submitted to the clerk's office. I'm available if there are any questions.
Do we have any questions for the gentleman? I see none. We have the representative, Mr. Milford, and he was sworn in, correct? No. Sir, please raise your right hand so we can swear you in. Mr. Milford, thank you.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to provide is the truth and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Please
All right,
unmute
sir.
yourself.
You're muted, sir. Please unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, sir. Please state your name and if you have a presentation.
Dwayne Milford representing the applicant. I do not, just here to answer questions if needed.
All right, any questions for the applicant? Nope. All right, is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on item number 52?
Second.
We have a motion to close from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilman Miranda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Councilmember Carlson, 52.
Thank you. I'd like to move 52, file number REZ 24-74, ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption, ordinance rezoning property in the general vicinity of 9313 North 11th Street in the city of Tampa, Florida, more particularly described in section 1 from zoning district classification RS50, residential single family to PD, planned development, residential multifamily, providing an effective date.
We have a motion from Councilmember Carlson, second from Councilmember Clendenin. Please record your vote.
Motion carried unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Item number 53.
Good morning, Stephanie Pope, Development Coordination. Item number 53 is REZ 24-105. This item is a rezoning request for the property located at 2706 and 2708 West Chestnut Street. The request is to rezone from residential single-family 50 to residential multifamily 12 for multifamily uses. This is a Euclidean request, so there are no site plans. I'm available if you have any questions.
Any questions? I don't see any. Any applicant for 53? Is there an applicant for 53? I see no one. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on 53?
Motion to close.
We have a
Second.
motion closed from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilman Miranda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Councilmember Miranda, 53.
Thank you, Mr. 50, which one, sir?
53.
53. Item 53, REZ 24/105, ordinance being presented for second reading adoption. An ordinance rezoning property, general vicinity of 2706 and 2708 West Chestnut Street in the city of Tampa, Florida, more particularly described from sections 1 from zoning district classification RS50, residential single family, to RM24, residential multifamily, providing an effective date.
Second.
RM12. Okay. Can you just clarify from RS50 to RM12?
Residential single family to RM12 residential multifamily, providing an effective date.
All right, we have a second from Councilmember Henderson. Please record your vote.
Motion carried unanimously with Vieira being absent at vote.
Thank you. Item number 54.
St. Thomas Development Coordination. Item number 54 is RAZ 24106. This item is a rezoning request for the property located at 2220 and 2222 Marconi Street. The request is to rezone from residential single-family 50 to planned development for residential single-family detached. Revisions have been completed and certified plans have been submitted to the clerk's office. I'm available if there are any questions.
Any questions? Is there an applicant for 54? I see no one. Is there anyone in the public that wishes to speak on 54? Motion closed. We have a motion to close
Second.
from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Councilmember Henderson,
Yes.
54.
Yes, Chair, thank you. I move file number REZ 24106, an ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption, an ordinance rezoning property in the general vicinity of 2220 and 2222 Marconi Street in the city of Tampa, Florida, and more particularly described in Section 1 from zoning district classifications RS50 residential single family to PD plan development residential single family detached, providing an effective date.
We have a motion from Councilmember Henderson, a second from Councilmember Vieira. Please record your vote.
Motion carried unanimously.
Thank you very much. Item number 55.
Good morning, Stephanie Pope, Development Coordination. Item number 55 is RAZ 2426. This item is a rezoning request for the property located at 2704 West Palmetto Street. The request is to rezone from residential single-family 50 to planned development for residential single-family semi-detached uses. Revisions have been completed and certified plans have been submitted to the clerk's office. I'm available if you have any questions.
Any questions? Nope. All right. Is there anybody in the public that, I'm sorry, is there a petitioner here for item number 55? I see no one. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on, for public comment, item 55?
Second.
Motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor?
Aye.
Councilman Vieira, 55.
You bet. Move an ordinance presented for second reading and adoption ordinance rezoning property general vicinity of 2704 West Palmetto Street, City of Tampa, Florida, more particularly described in Section 1 from zoning district classification RS50, residential single family to PD plan development, residential single family semi-detached, providing an effective date.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Vieira, second from Councilmember Miranda. Please record your vote.
Motion carried unanimously.
Oh, yeah, and move the resolution. Thank you.
Second.
We have a
Second.
motion to move the resolution from Councilmember Vieira, second from Councilmember Clendenin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Next up, item number 56.
St. Thomas Development Coordination. Item number 56 is REZ 2462. This item is a rezoning request for the property located at 1606 and 1608 North MacDill Avenue, and folio number 180542.000. The request is to rezone from residential single-family 50 to planned development for residential single-family detached. Revisions have been completed and certified plans have been submitted to the clerk's office. I'm available if there are any questions.
Any questions? Is there an applicant for 56? I see no one. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on 56? We have a
Second.
motion closed from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Councilmember Clendenin.
I move file number REZ 2462, an ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption, an ordinance rezoning property in the general vicinity of 1606 and 1608 North MacDill Avenue, and folio number 180542-0000 in the city of Tampa, Florida, more particularly described in Section 1 from zoning district classifications RS50 residential single family to PD planned development residential single family detached, providing an effective date.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Vieira. Please record your vote.
Motion carried unanimously.
Thank you very much. Item number 57.
St. Thomas Development Coordination. Item number 57 is REZ 2471. This item is a rezoning request for the property located at 4901 and 4903 South Quincy Street. The request is to rezone from commercial general to planned development for residential single-family attached. Revisions have been completed and certified plans have been submitted to the clerk's office. I'm available if you have any questions.
Any questions? I see no one. Petitioner.
Yes, Council, you may recall that we increased the buffers around this property. There's commercial on the north and the west sides. There's a veterinary office on the east side and single family on the south side, and we increased the setbacks there. We reduced the setback, actually increased the setback on the north side to preserve a tree. We've increased the size of the drainage retention that above and beyond what was required by the city. And it was found consistent by the Planning Commission and the City Council, our city staff, and we respectfully request your approval.
Okay, any questions for the petitioner? Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on this item 57? We have a speaker. Yes, sir, please state your name.
If I can, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
This gentleman has a difficulty hearing, and I've been informed that he would either need closed captioning, which unfortunately there's a technical issue that prevents us from doing that. So I would ask the council speak loudly. Sir, are you able to understand or hear what we're discussing?
Excuse me?
Are you able to understand or hear what we're discussing? Yes. Okay, then if we could just speak loudly.
I was listening live, but
okay. Thank you. And if you could just go to the lectern and state your name for the record. So I'll just ask that if you address him, just please do so in a way that he acknowledges that he can hear you.
Yes. Go ahead, sir.
I'm Lawrence Garcia, and I am a budding property owner to this PD zoning request. Myself and all the abutting property owners submitted objection letters to the Tampa City Council and categorically object to the rezoning of the proposal. It's going to adversely affect our properties in a very serious way. The ground water table in this area is very high, and in order to build the veterinarian clinic directly across the street, they had to install a complete underground sub-drainage system with backup retention ponds, and that was due to the fact that there's no city drainage in the area, in that part of South Tampa. So the lot that they built that on was 140 by 218. It was a big lot. This particular property is a postage stamp. It's 113 by 70 feet deep. They're cutting back on the setbacks. The setback is cut back from the street down to 17 feet, and it's got driveways made out of permeable pavers. Problem is, there's a base underneath the pavers that don't allow the absorption and the permeability that you would expect. So there's really not enough there. In the back, you've got 15 feet. They've got retention ponds that are going to just fill up and they're going to overflow. I've owned my property, my abutting property, for over 30 years. I know what the water does in this area. The whole corner fills up, the street fills up, Quincy and Gandy fills up any rainstorm. There's no way you can put a big building like this on this tiny lot and have the runoff go into our properties. Also, cutting back the front setback puts the building in front of the house to the south and blocks their view. It is not consistent with the neighborhood. I heard them say it was consistent with the neighborhood. Most of the lots have 100-foot depth for the permeability and retention in this area. Also, one main thing that they said about this is they said that the abutting property owners would be better off with a PD zoning residential than a commercial zoning in this commercial zoning area. That's not true, because if they were going to put a commercial development in there, they would have to put a sub-drainage structure underneath the building. They'd have to put the parking underneath the building. It's completely,
Thank you very much, sir.
it's completely cost ineffective.
Thank you very much, sir. The time has concluded. Thank you, sir.
I can't talk anymore?
No, it's 3 minutes per person.
Okay, I gave you my comments. Could you please look them over?
We will. I have them here.
That would
Thank
be
you, sir.
very much appreciated, because this is going to seriously adversely hurt our properties.
Thank you very much, sir.
And Miss Martin came in on the last meeting. I was out of town, I couldn't. And now she's in Michigan, so.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am. Next speaker.
Good morning, Stephanie Pointer. I think you guys all remember this project because I had the 15 and the 15 and the 5, and I did the calculations, and I showed it was like 64%, and I called Mr. Thomas the next day, and I said, wait a minute, is my math wrong? Well, my math wasn't wrong. My math was correct. What was wrong was the staff report said that the setbacks were 5 feet and 15 feet. They were actually more than that because they had to give room for the 36-inch decks and the 36-inch balcony or something like that. So he explained it to me, and I was like, okay, but I want to make sure that everybody knows that my calculations were correct. The staff report said something that was not factual. And this is the project, and even with, you remember this project now, don't you? Okay. Even with that being said, you see that with 15-foot setbacks, even if you are 15 feet back, you got to put a sidewalk in there, folks. So your cars don't fit there, which means that they don't have 12 parking spaces. They have 6, if you're lucky, because we all know that garages are much smaller than they used to be, or cars are much bigger than they used to be. So the other thing that I want to point out to you, that even the commercial properties that surround this, they're all 1 story. Even the veterinary clinic, everything that surrounds this is 1 story. This is 3 stories, building it out to the full 35 feet, not affordable. And wait a minute, I have to remind everybody that everybody who's sitting up there who came to the South Tampa Forum said agreed that South Tampa was full. I was flabbergasted that this even got to second reading, because this is a crap project. It was a crap project when it was SU1 once. It was a crap project when it was SU1 twice. It was a crap, and it was a crap project when it came before you as a petition for review. It's still a crappy project. We're building setback to setback as much, cramming 10 pounds of crap in a 5-pound bag, once again, in an area that's already showing flooding. You were sent the videos from Cook's, where they already have 2 inches of water in the back room, and these guys want to build setback to setback and not have any, and tear the trees out and everything else, so that they make sure that there's no water retention on their own personal property. This is going to negatively impact that community. They already have water retention problems, and this is not going to help. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Rebuttal, Mr. Michelini.
Council, you can't waive drainage requirements. They are not, you can't escape them. So regardless of what you build, you have to meet that. This currently is a CG property, which could be developed a lot more intensively. Excuse me, I didn't interrupt anybody else. They reduced the density. It was found consistent by both the Planning Commission and the city staff. The issue regarding runoff going onto somebody else's property is not allowed. So any stormwater that falls or is affected by this project must be contained on the site and connected to the appropriate location. Whether you have to elevate with an under drain system or you provide it in the green space when we ask for no green space waivers, it has to be dealt with. You can't, there is no way of getting around dealing with stormwater. The existing conditions should be better because currently there is no drainage system on this project, and it also will prevent this property from draining onto somebody else's property. As I said, it's surrounded by commercial except for on the south side, and there's an additional right-of-way plus the setbacks that we have on the south side. So there's a large buffer area in that area. This is not crammed into any property. It is reasonable, and we only move the project back on the north side to accommodate the trees. So we're not taking out trees, we're saving them. And as far as the lot coverage is concerned, the staff reviewed it and confirmed that we did meet that requirement. It's reasonable, it's sensitive, and it's a transition between heavy commercial on Gandy and residential on the south side. As I said, there's a veterinary office directly across the street. And the two-car garages are 22 feet wide, as we've had that discussion before about making garages that were too narrow. So they will accommodate the vehicles as required. And you can't count on driveway spaces as meeting the code, so that's why those garages are there. Anyway, we just respectfully request your approval. It is a sensitive project, and regardless of what was presented before, that's not the nature of what's before you. What's before you is consideration for a PD that is sensitive, meets the code, and no waivers are being requested regarding drainage, which you can't request anyway. I respectfully request your approval.
Council Member Clendenin.
So a question for staff. Anybody from staff?
I'm available. Sam Thomas, Development Coordination.
So Sam, question for you. Part of my vote on approval of this was an understanding of existing conditions and existing zoning of what can be built there without any changes, and me weighing, based on the information that was presented during the first hearing, weighing the potential development. Could you explain what potentially could be by right developed on this property versus what is being offered here in this plan?
Yes, that is a slightly complicated question. The lot is currently zoned commercial general. However, it does not meet commercial general standards. Commercial general standards require that the lot be a minimum of 10,000 square feet. This lot is not 10,000 square feet. It is approximately 7,906 square feet. There has not been a determination made by a department through a formal decision as to whether or not the lot is a legal non-conforming lot. So without that determination, I cannot say whether or not what can be built on this site, but I can tell you what type of uses could be considered in the commercial general zoning district should this lot be determined to be a legal non-conforming lot, if you would like.
Well, I think that was my point is because, again, I was making my decision in the last meeting based on an understanding, maybe a misunderstanding of what by right without coming before council could be built here versus what could be built here now. So it's non-conforming structure. They could not develop this as a commercial without getting a subsequent determination from this council.
It would be an administrative process. To get a decision made, the applicant would provide evidence that showing that this lot was created this way, or that it even though it is not 10,000 square feet, maybe it has always been a commercial general zoning lot, and they would go through the process to prove that even though it's not 10,000 square feet, that it is a legal non-conforming lot, which is an administrative process done through our department. There's also the option for them, like they did before, to apply for a special use 1 application to develop either single family or single family semi-detached or detached if they are meeting the requirements under the S1 application, and that is also an administrative process.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Miranda.
Yes, sir.
No, I'm just listening, I'm sorry.
All right. Anything further?
If I could ask the staff for a second to just explain what the setbacks would be under general commercial.
Does he still have rebuttal time, Suling?
2 minutes.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. The setbacks under commercial general are 10 on the front, 10 on the sides, 10 on the rear, and 10 on the corner.
All right, anything further? If not, I'll ask for a motion to close. So moved. We have a motion to close from Councilman Vieira, second from. This is just to close. Second from Councilmember Carlson, all in favor? Aye. Councilman Miranda. Councilmember Vieira.
An ordinance rezoning property in the general vicinity of 4901, 4903 South Quincy Street in the city of Tampa, Florida, more particularly described in section 1 from zoning district classification CG commercial general, the PD plan development, residential single family attached, providing an effective date.
We have a motion from Councilmember Vieira. Do we have a second?
No, sir. No, sir.
Do we have a second on this motion?
If you can, counsel, I'm just going to ask counsel and maybe in control room if they could just, if you could speak loudly, please.
Of course. Councilmember Vieira made a motion to approve this second reading. Is there a second? Is there a second? The motion fails for lack of a second. Is there another motion therefore in order? Mr. Shelby.
Counsel, if there is another motion in order, depending on what that motion is, I would like to speak to it if I can briefly.
So if I make a motion to deny,
Yes? Is there a second?
We have a motion to deny by Councilmember Clendenin with a second from Councilmember Hurtak. Mr. Shelby, you want to speak?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Martin Shelby, City Council Attorney. With this motion, I would suggest that the law would require you to state the sections of the code and the criteria, specifically Section 27-136, the purpose for planned development, and Section 27-139, the waivers. I've provided this to you previously. I have a copy of it, and I would suggest that your motion go through the criteria in addition to whatever competent substantial evidence that you want to put in the record that supports your decision.
All right, Councilmember Clendenin.
give me a second.
And you also have waivers on the other page.
On the other side.
Okay.
There are waivers.
Are there? No waivers.
No waivers.
Yeah.
The petitioner says there are no waivers. There are no waivers. Is that correct with staff? If staff could just confirm that, I would suspect.
St. Thomas Development Coordination, that is correct. There are no waivers requested.
So then it would be, the waiver criteria, I stand corrected, thank you, sir, Mr. Michelini, would not apply in this case.
Okay. I move to deny file number REZ 2471. Based on the petitioner's, I'm sorry. Yeah, I move to deny file number REZ 2471. I'll speak personally because, again, I voted in favor of this in the first reading under the understanding that the petitioner was entitled to develop this property. Again, my misunderstanding based on the current zoning that was by right, and obviously this is a non-conforming lot that there is no right. So again, I move to deny file number REZ 2471 based on PD code criteria section 27136. This does not promote the efficient and sustainable use of land and infrastructure with careful consideration of potential adverse impacts on on-site natural elements surrounding impacted neighborhoods and cultural resources.
Miss Feely.
Council, do you need to reopen if I speak?
Yes.
Can you please reopen the hearing?
We have a motion to reopen from Councilmember Vieira, second from Councilmember Clendenin. All in favor? Aye. The hearing is reopened. Yes, Miss Feely.
Thank you. Hearing Councilman Clendenin's motion, I just want to clarify for the record that when you have a legal non-conforming lot, you do not have to get that determination. I don't like to stand up here and say my staff is wrong, but I do, when I heard the discussion going on, if this has been a legal lot of record, plat or deed since its inception, it would be a buildable lot. It does not have to meet the 10,000 square feet. As Sam mentioned, the development potential of the lot is going to be further restricted because right away you're already starting with 7,900 square feet, and then you put the 10-foot setbacks on it. It's going to yield less than what a typical CG lot would, especially if there's surrounding residential. You have to buffer at 15 feet. So seeing the direction this was headed, I want to clarify for the record that would be a buildable lot.
Motion to close.
If you can.
Mr. Shelby.
I'd like the petitioner to have an opportunity to address this before we close, please.
I think we're getting
Please say your
far.
name
How
again.
much time does he have left on rebuttal? 2 minutes, Mr. Michelini, please.
We're getting far afield of what the petition is. No waivers were requested. We increased the setbacks. We can build this at the 10-foot setback, as Abby just pointed out, all the way around. We're asking for greater setbacks to be approved here, and it be less intensive going from general commercial to residential. And the staff has already pointed out in their staff report, this is a approved and appropriate transitional use between commercial and residential that's further to the south. We increased the setbacks on the south side, plus the existing alley, which cannot be built on. And we increased the amount of drainage that was being proposed for this project beyond the technical standards. Drainage cannot be waived. And we were sensitive to the issue that other people talked about. I met with a woman outside after the hearing the first time, and I explained to her that drainage is not an issue that you can waive through the code. The green space, we meet that, we meet the lot coverage, we meet all of the criteria with no waivers. So I would urge the council to please consider those facts in your deliberations and your vote. I'd appreciate your consideration and a favorable vote. Thank you.
Motion to close. Mr. Shelby. Do you want to say something?
What I would do is, based on the additional testimony and evidence, I would refer back to having to remake the motion,
All right.
rather than the motion that's on the floor.
We have a
Motion to close.
Second.
We have a motion to close from Councilmember Hurtak, second Councilman Vieira. All in favor? Aye.
So you can restate the motion
Go ahead,
or amend it,
Councilmember
however you
Clinton.
wish. Yes, sir.
So let's just start from scratch on this one. So I move to deny file number REZ 2471, based on competent and substantial evidence that the petitioner failed to meet the code criteria based on planned developments that would promote efficient and sustainable use of land and infrastructure with careful consideration of potential adverse impacts on on-site natural elements, surrounding impacted neighborhoods, and cultural resources. We've heard testimony from neighbors that the area is subject to severe flooding and that the proposed project would aggravate that existing circumstances. That the procedure, the type of design and layout of residential and non-residential development for this particular site, for the residential development, is not in accordance with the current existing conditions, and that the adjacent properties would be adversely impacted based on the evidence that was submitted to council by the adjoining property owners. Would you like to continue and add something?
I will add section 27-136, subsection 6, promote and encourage development where it is appropriate in location, character, and compatibility with the surrounding impacted neighborhoods, built environment, and existing geography.
With something that was presented in evidence.
Let's see, where the built environment and existing geography does not support this type of development.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second from Councilmember Hurtak. Roll call vote.
Miranda,
Yes.
Carlson,
Say it louder.
Council members, if you can, speak into the microphones, please, for the benefit of the gentleman.
Hurtak,
Yes.
Clendenin,
Yes.
Henderson,
Yes.
Vieira,
No.
and Maniscalco.
No.
Motion carried with Vieira and Maniscalco voting no.
Thank you for your consideration.
Mr. Garcia, the motion was denied. The gentleman in the front row.
Mr. Garcia,
Come on up to the podium.
can he, if he can,
The motion was denied. It has been denied.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, council members.
okay.
No,
That's
that's
it.
it, that's
Awesome.
it.
Not because you
Sorry,
did
sorry,
this.
sir, if I can. I just want to let you know, council, again, in order to avoid prejudicing this case during the appeal period, that you did not discuss it, please.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. We're going to go on to the next case.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon. All right, item number 58.
St. Thomas Development Coordination. Item number 58 is REZ 2480. This item is a rezoning request for the property located at 1007 and 1011 North Armenia Avenue The request is to rezone from residential multifamily 16 and plan development to plan development for office business professional. Revisions have been completed and certified plans have been submitted to the clerk's office. I'm available if there are any questions.
All right, any questions for the gentleman? I see none. Yes, sir, please state your name.
Yes, Ryan Renardo, R Squared Engineering. I represent the applicant, Eliane Probasco with OAB Armenia LLC. I don't have a presentation, but I'm here if there's any questions.
Any questions? Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on item 58?
Motion to close.
We have a motion to close from Councilmember Clendenin, second Councilmember Vieira. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Councilmember Vieira.
Yes, sir. Move an ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption, an ordinance rezoning property in the general vicinity of 1007 and 1011 North Armenia Avenue in the city of Tampa, and more particularly described in section 1 from zoning district classification RM residential multifamily to PD plan development to PD plan development business professional office, providing an effective date.
We have a motion from Councilman Vieira. Do we have a second? Second. Second from Councilmember Clendenin. Please record your vote.
Motion carried unanimously with Miranda abstaining.
He announces abstaining. Wait, he's not present.
Motion carried unanimously with Miranda being absent at vote.
Thank you.
All right. Item number 59. Thank you, sir.
Stephanie Pope, Development Coordination. Item number 59 is RAZ 2481. This item is a rezoning request for the property located at 3109 North Boulevard. The request is to rezone from residential single-family 50 to residential office. As this is a Euclidean request, there are no site plans. I am available if you have any questions.
Do we have any questions? I see none. Is there a petitioner here for item number 59? Yes, ma'am. Come on up. Please state your name.
Good morning, Isabel Albert representing the applicant, and I'm here to answer any questions.
All right. Do we have any questions for the applicant? I see none. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on item 59? I see no one, and there is nobody registered. We have a motion closed from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, Councilmember Miranda, would you mind reading 59?
Item number 59, file number REZ 24/81. Ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption. An ordinance rezoning property in general vicinity of 3109 North Boulevard in the city of Tampa, Florida, more particularly described in section 1 from zoning district classification RS 50 residential single family to RO residential office, providing an effective date.
We have a motion from Councilmember Miranda, second from Councilmember Vieira. Please record your vote.
Motion carried with Carlson and Hurtak voting no.
Thank you very much. Item number 60.
Sam Thomas Development Coordination. Item number 60 is RAZ 2488. This item is a request to rezone the property located at 3111 East 22nd Avenue. The request is to rezone from residential single-family 50 to plan development for residential single-family detached. Revisions have been completed and certified plans have been submitted to the clerk's office. I'm available if there are any questions.
Any questions? Is there anybody in the, is there a petitioner for this item? Online?
Yes, sir. My
Item
name is
number
Ali
six-
Mansour. Yes, I'm available here, sir, for any question. My name is Ali Mansour.
All right, anything else? I need to see your face on, can you turn your camera on?
Yes, I'm telling you that, sir.
All right, anything, okay, any questions for the petitioner? Were you sworn in, sir? Please raise your right hand, we'll swear you in.
Yes, sir.
Raise your right hand, please. Let us,
I am.
yeah, there we go.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to provide is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, is there anything you wish to add, sir? Would you like to?
No, I have. No, I'm good.
All right, thank you
Thank you.
very much. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on item number 60? Motion closed. We have a motion closed from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember...
Second.
Second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Councilmember Henderson.
Yes, Chair. File number REZ 2488, an ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption. An ordinance rezoning property in the general vicinity of 3111 East 22nd Avenue in the city of Tampa, Florida, and more particularly described in section 1 from zoning district classifications RS 50 residential single family to PD plan development residential single family detached, providing an effective date.
We have a
Second.
motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Clendenin, I'm sorry, Henderson, and then Clendenin. All in, record your vote.
Motion carried unanimously.
Get through these 3 items.
You can do it.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am? Did you read the vote? You did? Sorry. Thank you very much. All right, item number 61, Mr. Massey, you're going to kick it off.
Good morning, City Council. Morris Massey, Legal Department. This is a public hearing, a notice public hearing on a proposed lease, and that's what City Council is being asked to consider this morning. Approving a lease affecting a portion of Tampa Park Plaza Playground, which is a dedicated city park. The proposed lease agreements between the City of Tampa and Tampa Park Apartments, Inc., the owner of Tampa Park Plaza, an existing commercial retail center that's located immediately adjacent to and west of the park. The proposed lease agreement and resolution of City Council approving the lease agreement have been submitted to you and are part of the published agenda for your consideration after you conduct this public hearing. Both Tampa Park Plaza, the commercial retail center, and the park are located within the Maryland Avenue subdivision. So let me put on the Elmo an aerial that maybe will help orient you all a little bit. The park is this triangular area right here. This is Nucio Parkway here. Gasworks is being redeveloped along Nucio Parkway. Tampa Park Plaza, Inc. owns the commercial retail center, which is here, immediately to the west, adjacent to Nebraska Avenue. Encore is located further to the west on the other side of Nebraska Avenue. Just a little bit of background information. The Maryland Avenue subdivision came about through urban renewal in the 1960s. Prior to urban renewal, the Maryland Avenue subdivision was primarily an African-American residential area that was part of the scrub. All those structures were removed as part of urban renewal. Tampa Park Apartments, Inc., led by Mr. Andrews, was awarded a couple of RFPs by the Urban Renewal Agency for the development of affordable housing in the Maryland Avenue subdivision, and also for the existing commercial retail center, which they continue to own. This proposed lease was negotiated with Tampa Park Apartments after the issuance of an RFP by the city because it's within the Central Park community development area, and we have to issue RFPs for any property that's located within a CRA. That kind of provides some of the background reasons why the lease was negotiated with Tampa Park Apartments, Inc. They provide some records suggesting to the city that Tampa Park Apartments, Inc. should have been awarded additional acreage by the Urban Renewal Agency back in the 1960s. In addition, they have plans to renovate and redevelop that existing commercial retail center for additional restaurants and entertainment venues, and they don't have sufficient parking to support that redevelopment of their existing center. There is also language in the community development plan for the Central Park CRA that suggests or also requires that the city look at how it can help provide parking to help existing commercial retail centers within that CRA redevelop, as that's consistent with that policy. And currently, this park is really underutilized and has been neglected. And then, as part of the lease agreement, Tampa Park Apartments, Inc. is agreeing to redevelop the portion of the park that they don't utilize with the parking garage as a park property. And I'll put a diagram that's a part of the lease agreement on the Elmo here to kind of show what's being proposed. So you'll see that a portion of the park immediately adjacent to the retail center would be developed as a parking garage and would be subject to the lease. And then the remainder of the park would be redeveloped with a ball field and recreational facilities.
Can you put that down a little bit?
Sure. Okay, sorry about that.
No, it's worse.
Good. That's all right?
No, it's fine. Thank you, sir.
Okay. The proposed lease agreement would provide Tampa Park Apartments, Inc. with a 25-year lease to construct and operate an approximate 200 space parking garage on a portion of the park with some limited ancillary retail food restaurant space to serve park patrons. There are a number of conditions precedent that they need to satisfy before the lease goes into effect, including finalizing plans for the parking garage in a manner that's approved by the city, obtaining any quasi-judicial approvals from you if necessary for the parking garage. The lease provides that members of the public accessing the park would have a right to park in the parking garage. The fee for parking would have to be commensurate with, or basically the equivalent of what's being charged by public parking lots and parking garages north of Cass Street in the Central Business District. And then in addition, as it prior to CO for the parking garage, they would be required to redevelop the balance of the park. Because the Tampa, let's go through a couple of procedural issues and then open it up for public comment. Because the Tampa Park Plaza Playground is a dedicated city park, city code requires that this lease be considered for approval only after a public hearing, which we're having today, is first conducted, and the term of lease cannot exceed 25 years. City code also required that notice of the public hearing be provided in the same manner as we provide notices for rezonings. And there's an affidavit as part of the backup that's executed by me, where we sent letters notifying all the property owners within 300 feet and all the affected neighborhood groups more than 30 days in advance of today's public hearing. And that certificate of mailing is also included the backup. I'm here for any questions. Otherwise, you should hear from hear first from the proposed tenant, Tampa Park Apartments, Inc., and their representatives, and then from members of the public before you consider whether to approve the resolution and the proposed lease agreement.
So, thank you very much. Mr. Massey, so this agreement would allow them to build the parking garage as shown?
Yes.
And then the baseball field or the ball field there would be redeveloped, but they would maintain control of it? They would, because I see there's, on the, where the parking garage is proposed, there's a utilized field / park that is used. They would be able to, you know, continue their operations in this new ball field that's proposed to the right?
Correct. I mean, part of what the lease requires is that as part of the 1 year, when the condition is precedent before the lease goes into effect, they need to negotiate a park redevelopment plan for the remainder of the park that's not going to be occupied by the garage, that's acceptable to the city, which would presumably include a new ball field to replace the one that's currently there where the parking garage would be erected.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Miranda Henderson Hurtak.
Thank you. I'm just looking at this and it makes me feel young again. And I don't mean it hard. I mean, when I was growing up there in Ybor City, we had one park called Cascade Park, and it's still there. However, it's somewhat not like it used to be. This park here, as I'm looking at it, I remember the entrance here on Nebraska where the buildings are at on the northwest corner back in the 70s. When you ran for office, there's where you had to go and meet the neighborhood and give your speech on what you were going to do for the city, way back. And I'm sorry to say that I forget the gentleman's name. I know he was somewhat associated with his police officer. I don't think he was, but he was a coordinator with police, and he would be in charge of make sure that everything was fine for everybody to go out and do their campaigning and do the work. This is, to me, what it was to me growing up in Ybor City back at Cascade Park, when I had Frank Premuy at first base, Joe Alonso at second, Tony Russo was in the Hall of Fame at short, Bucky De La Torres at third, the left fielder I'm leave out, the center fielder was John Palmieri, the right fielder was Robert Diaz, and the three other guys were Eloy Paris, Richard Stark, and Manuel Balserio. All those guys, two of them played professional ball. One didn't want to play, he could have signed, but he didn't. And one's in the Hall of Fame, just because we had a place to go to called Cascade Park. And I've been visiting this park on and off for many years. This park has got to be moved to the eastern part to make room for the parking garage. And I think it'd be a great asset because we have individuals coming back and living in the area that are going to be young again. And there's a one thing, if you keep the kid's mind working and the body performing, no matter what it is. I don't care if it's marbles or cork ball or softball or baseball or tennis or golf or whatever it is in sports. More likely you're going to be a better person because it teaches you to do what? It teaches you how to win and not complain when you lost because maybe you don't they give it to you all. So a loser is somebody who loses and stays down. The winner is one that says, I'm not going to lose again. And I think this is what the kids need. Not that they're losers now, but the view of going up and growing up and doing something successfully comes with sports at that age. And that's why I support this move. I think it's a great move for not only the kids in that neighborhood, but to have interaction with other kids and play ball like we did at Cascadian with many, many parks from throughout the city. And that's why I'm going to support this because it's for kids and it helps us growing up and being who we are, how we are, and where we want to be. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Henderson Hurtak.
Oh, I thought she was first.
No.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Thank you, Chair. You said something in your presentation about documentation being provided. Can you address that in detail? What did you mean by that?
The Tampa Park Apartments, Inc. representatives who are here, and you should hear from before you vote on it, had provided an application that was made by Mr. Andrews to, I think, HUD back in the early 60s, which indicated the acreage that they thought they were getting would be 22 acres. And when you look at the acreage that was provided after the plan was finally approved and the subdivision was finally laid out, was about 2 acres less than that, approximately. That's my recollection of what it was. So.
Okay, thank you. And the other, just according to what you're providing here on this map, that means that the ballpark is being moved back, and Tampa Park will be responsible for rebuilding that?
Yes, ma'am.
And it's still considered city property?
Yes, ma'am. That would still
Okay.
be dedicated park open to the public. Yes, ma'am, after it's rebuilt.
Okay. You know, this is District 5, and I'm actually very excited to hear that a business opportunity, Black-owned business opportunity, is fighting to improve space in an area that's being extremely developed, according to, you know, what's happening on Nucio Park. So I like the idea and I support it. Thank you.
Councilmember Hurtak.
Why aren't we just giving them the land?
Ma'am?
Why aren't we just giving them the land then,
It's a
if this was
dedi-
land that they were owed?
It is a dedicated city park, and under the city code, we cannot give away city park property without a referendum of the voters of the city of Tampa. So the most we can do under the current code is provide a lease of 25 years.
Okay, and how much money will the city get from this lease?
We're
Are
not
we
getting-
charging?
we're not
Okay, so
charging
we
them
aren't
any
charging
money.
them.
We're not charging them anything.
Who owns the garage after 25 years?
It would revert to the city of Tampa. They do have the option of asking for an extension, and then they could also ask perhaps for it to be a referendum to be placed, so that this property would
Okay.
not be dedicated any longer.
Why can't we do I mean, things have been coming to us, agreements for 50-year leases, 100-year leases. Is there a reason we're doing 25?
25 is the maximum that our code allows for dedicated park property. That's
Okay.
why. That's why,
Okay.
and that's why we're having a public hearing. This
Okay.
is the maximum we can do under the current code.
And will parking be free for people who are using the park?
No, the lease provides that what they can charge the public to use that parking garage has to be basically the same as other public parking lots or within that area are charging. So that has to be, they can't charge more.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Anybody in the public? Yes, ma'am, please state your name.
Hey, good afternoon. Is it afternoon? Stephanie Pointer. I really don't care one way or another about this, but I didn't hear anything about reaching out to the neighborhood and talking to the neighborhoods about this building a parking garage in the middle of their neighborhood, in the middle of their park. I'm just saying, I don't care one way or the other. It's just something that should have been considered and was public notice sent out. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Massey, wouldn't that happen when the plans are presented?
Public notice went out and was sent to all property owners that own property within 300 feet and to 4 registered neighborhood groups, which stated the date of the hearing, the purpose of the hearing, and that they could obtain a copy of the lease agreement from the clerk's office if they wanted to. I know one of the neighbors' representatives did reach out to me, and we provided them a copy of the lease.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am. Good morning. Good afternoon. Please state your name.
Good afternoon. I'm Kay Andrews. My grandfather and father were the initiators of Tampa Park Apartments, Inc., along with Mr. Harvey Sr. and Mr. Harvey Jr. Just to clarify, and hello, Ms. Henderson, how are you today? To clarify what Mr. Matthew was saying about the documents, the actual document which I possess was done in 1962 for 24 acres of land in the Maryland subdivision. The land, although it's being stated that it was given to Tampa Park, it was not. It was actually purchased by the longshoremen and Lily Longshoreman, which was led by the Harveys, and Lilly Fraternal Organization, which was led by my grandfather and father. I came to the city and requested 3 acres of the land back because it has been listed that Tampa Park only owned 21 acres, when in fact the initial contract stated that 24 acres was purchased. So back then, I guess it wasn't called eminent domain, but the mayor at that point took 1.5 or 1.7 acres and created the park that we're now requesting to be returned to Tampa Park. And thank you, Ms. Hurtak, for that, because that was my exact question. Why can't we just get it back? So we followed the procedure and did the RFP, and this has been a 3.5-year project. And thank you to Councilman Miranda and Mr. Maniscalco for coming out and seeing the programs that we now have going on. And I think, Ms. Henderson, you did come out as well. We have a very viable program with young people. The baseball park wasn't used like it should have been used when Tampa Park, the people lived in Tampa Park, because baseball is a very expensive sport. So we're trying to bring that back, mainly because I have a grandson who's playing baseball, and it's not affordable anymore. So we wanted to redevelop the baseball field and make sure that we brought baseball back, because our history in Tampa is big in baseball. So we have a very viable program going on in our plaza, and I would thank you all for your consideration on this matter.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Any questions for me?
You know, I do have a question for you. I went by there yesterday and I was looking, so you all have been maintaining city property, because Mr. Massey said that it was not being maintained. So you all have been maintaining the property for programming?
Yes, we have.
Okay.
We've been cutting the lights. The lights went out, and we called the city, and they said it was too expensive, and because we had the RFP in place, they would not replace the lights for the kids to practice in the evening. So we expensed and put the lighting back so that the kids could practice in the afternoon.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Next speaker, yes, sir. Please state your name.
Hello, Council. My name is Daniel Alderman. One of the architects working on the project representing Tampa Park. And I just wanted to be able to add a little bit of context to some of the features that are proposed to improve the lot and answer any questions you may have for me. In addition to the parking spaces already outlined, it provides direct access from people parking in that garage to the ball field. It also includes improvements to concessions storage for the ball field at the ground floor of the garage, so they would now have direct access from the new parking, the new ballpark, to that ground level of the garage for new storage, new facilities that would support that ballpark, as well as the new park space that is proposed on the north edge of that property, the north edge running along the ballpark. And then that also features a path that leads from a space that is used as a training area and a batting field for the existing retail buildings to walk safely across to that ball field. There's an existing access road that runs north-south just behind the existing retail buildings. That's proposed to be transformed to a pedestrian greenway. So that's kind of a buffer, a green buffer setback from the existing surface parking. It can now be walked as a pedestrian path in front of the proposed retail. And there's also a straight path leading from that training area at the existing retail buildings over to the new ballpark. And then you could also see from the plan that was shown earlier, main access to that garage comes from the south on Scott Street, so it does not overlap that pedestrian pathway. And that's all I have to say on that, and any questions you have for me, I'm happy to answer.
Any questions? All right, anybody else?
Thank you.
Yes, sir, please state your name.
Joe Robinson, man. Listen, I don't know, I'm from Central Park. I've been a Charlie since the mid-50s and in 1962, and Urban Renewal and Nick Nucio and the boys gangstered this 3 acres. I remember the whole deal, right across from Ray Williams Funeral Home. I know this is the last commercial piece black folks got in Central Park. Central Avenue gone. I remember Buddy's Bar, Little Savoy, the White Sanderson Blue Room, the Lincoln Theater, the Pyramid, and all that stuff. And even when the parade used to come up and down Central Avenue, gone. This is the last piece that can probably have some resemblance, you know, but because in 1962, that's when the interstate came, and I moved to the Scaglione house in West Tampa that same year. That's why we moved from Central Park to West Tampa. And that's why I've been over there since 1962. So I'm here to support this. Number one, we had events at the Lux. They have a little room there. I remember there used to be community savings along there. Gay Papa Miles used to have the dance for the children over there, all that. I remember all that. I used to be all over there. And so we had a meeting there with 150 to 200 minority businesses for the airport project, the Conrack that they were building, because the Austin Commercial needed a place to have an event. We don't have too many event places for African Americans in this city. But we had it there. We had to lease, we had to rent the property at St. Peter Clay to park the cars. Cars parked all over where. This parking garage will reduce that problem. There will be an opportunity so the event center will have a location to park some cars. And you see that they're not just doing just do parking, they're doing it because why? Because they're doing it for the kids. Okay? They're doing it for baseball. You saw that. They're taking on a big risk. And it's about time that, you know, sometimes, you know, I don't come all the time, but when I come down here, I know the history, Charlie. I was there back when it was segregated, when we couldn't go play at Cascadian, okay? When I almost drowned in Cascadian pool, okay? So and I'm in West Tampa where we had, you know, 218 League, West Tampa Little League, you know, Robert Saunders, all that, Permuter and all the boys, Mark Suarez and all the boys, what I went to school with at St. Joseph. So I'm just here to support this. I think it's taken a long time to get here, but I think with all of the development going on, with the housing right across the street with Encore, and with something positive, this would still be the last, besides what's over on 22nd, last piece of black commercial, little small restaurant, little event center. Nothing big, but it's on Nebraska and it's historical. That's all.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else here for the public? Before I close, I'll just make my comments. I'm happy to support this. I know the Andrews family is legendary in this community. You know, the father and the grandfather were mentioned, highly respected people. And I was contacted by a couple of people that are here, James Ransom, Marvin Knight, and Joe Robinson. Joe Robinson and I go to church, so we see each other all the time. But when they call for something, I listen. And they expressed, you know, their support and their concerns. I met Mr. Knight down there. I met the gentleman right behind him, Mr. Andrews, correct? With the baseball cap on. Yeah, I saw what happens at Tampa Park. I saw what they do for baseball, for the young people there. It's a great amenity to the community, and I'm happy to support this moving forward. So with that, do we get a motion to close?
Motion to close.
We have a motion to close from.
Before we close, may I ask, Mr. Bennett, you and I have been talking about chipper-chapping, that you're stronger and better and much greater ball player than I am, and I'm 84. So maybe in opening day, I may be still around, and you and I are going to have to meet at that same park. And I will show you what I learned from my age. You don't have to bow now. You're going to lose, brother. Because I'm mentally prepared for you. And we've been talking about this for 2 years. But here's an opportunity to go show all your stuff in front of all those kids and see what happens. So the challenge is on. It's your call.
If you make a motion under new business, I'll support it. Yes, ma'am.
I just have something to say after motion to close.
Oh, we have a motion to close?
So moved.
Motion to close from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor?
Aye.
And Councilmember Hertzog, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I support this. Generally speaking, I don't support parking garages or reducing public parks, but this isn't our land, and that's the way I feel about it. So I'm happy to be able to give it back to the best of our ability.
Councilmember Henderson, would you like to go ahead and move the resolution?
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Henderson, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, let's do 62 and 63, and then we'll go to lunch.
Good afternoon, Council. McLean Evans, Assistant City Attorney. Item number 62 is the second public hearing for proposed Brownfield area designation for property generally located at 2606 East 10th Avenue. The City of Tampa is requesting designation of these properties as a brownfield area to assist in the assessment and remediation of environmental impacts that may exist on the property. Details of the designation have been outlined in a document entitled Staff Report on East Ybor Development Area, Proposed Brownfield Area Designation, which is available for public review in the clerk's office and online. At the conclusion of the second public hearing, council will have an opportunity to pass a resolution designating East Ybor Development Area as a brownfield area as specified in Chapter 376 of Florida statutes. I and staff are available for any questions.
Any questions? Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on this item? Yes, sir. Please state your name.
Good morning, my name is Matthew Raddick. I own the property abutting this thing at 2614 East 10th Avenue. And I'm still after reading as much of that report as I can, I still don't understand how this would not negatively affect the properties around there to declare this some polluted site. So another question here is, you guys are all about to vote on this. Have each one of you read the entirety of that report? It's well over 1,000 pages. Has everyone read that? I don't hear any positive yeses.
Well, sir, this is your opportunity to speak. Council does not necessarily,
Okay.
they can question you if they have any questions.
Okay.
But this is your opportunity to express your
It's
thoughts.
just my opinion that if a person doesn't read the whole report, then how can they give an informed decision when they make their vote on this project? So I've reached out to the Habitat for Humanity. They haven't returned any calls. So I don't know. I've still got a lot of questions about this, declaring this property some polluted wasteland that's a blight on the community. I just don't think it meets all the criteria to be declared that, other than the fact that it's going to benefit another business, even though that benefit is Habitat for Humanity. That's great. Okay. All right, I suppose that's all I can say.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
very
sir.
much.
Any other public comment? If not, I'll ask for a motion to close. We have a motion to close from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Who would like to move the resolution?
So moved.
We have a motion from Councilmember
Second.
Vieira, second from Councilmember Clendenin. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Item 63.
Good afternoon, Council. McLean Evans, Legal Department. Item number 63 is the second of two public hearings on a proposed brownfield area designation for a city-owned property generally located at 810 Channelside Drive. City of Tampa is requesting designation of this property as a brownfield area to assist in the assessment and remediation of contamination that may exist on the property. Details of the designation have been outlined in a report that is named Channelside Drive Park Proposed Brownfield Area Designation, which is available in the clerk's office and online. At the conclusion of this second public hearing, council will have an opportunity to pass a resolution designating 810 Channelside Drive as a brownfield area as specified in Chapter 376 of Florida statutes. Staff and I are available if you have any questions.
Any questions? I see no one. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on this item? This is item 63. I see no one. I have nobody registered. May I have a motion to close? Motion from Councilmember Miranda, second from Councilmember Clendenin. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Who would like to move the resolution? We have a motion from Councilmember Miranda. We have a second? Second from Councilmember Clendenin. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. We are in recess until 2 o'clock.
Thanks.